my man TT Mash. Shout out to Crouching Tiger, Ozane in the house, other Zinc in the house, Nick W, Slow Motion, all you guys in the house. Love y'all, man. Hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Send them off, Joe.
Yeah, all right, man. Listen, I'll give you guys the quote of the week tomorrow. Actually, I'll do it now, man, because we're kind. We'll give them the opportunity. Katina Man's not even ready yet. Oh, he's going over there. All right, he's born ready. He's born ready. He's got his thing up there. Excuse me. No, I'm only playing. Want to go right? That's crazy. Oh, my days.
Hold on, Joey. Right, we didn't talk about something very important, man.
Hold on, man.
Joey, who's playing today in about 1 hour? In exactly 1 hour?
England and France.
England and France, right?
Yeah.
And it's Spain and France.
Yeah, sorry.
You're tripping
Spain
me out
France.
here. It's England, Argentina.
Yeah, sorry.
Right. So, who you got? Let's go. Give me a price and give me a score.
I have Spain.
Give me a result.
3-2 probably France. I want Spain to win, but I think France.
3-2 France?
Yeah.
You're going 3-2 France. All right. I'm going to go ahead and say, look, I picked all the wrong ones because I was going with my heart, not my head. I'm going to go ahead and say France 2-1 or 3-2.
Yeah, all
okay?
right.
Sia, give us your opinion quick. Spain price. Or, sorry, goals. 2-0. 2-0?
Oh!
I like it.
Hot
Neil,
take,
you want to chime in real quick about Neil says 2-1 for France. 2-1 France. Katina Man, can we get a quick prediction just before we go into that? 7-6 Spain, says the Katina Man. That would probably have to be the biggest goal-scoring game, I think, in probably World Cup knockout history. I have no idea, right?
History?
We'd have to check there.
All right, we're ready to send them off. I'll give it to you guys here now. You ready for this, Sharif?
I'm ready.
Some people will check your cup to see if you have enough. Others will check your cup to see if you have more than them. Send it off now.
There we go. Words of wisdom, just dropping it. And if you act now, you can get Joey Options' book of hard knowledge and advice for only alphas for $74.99. Limited edition offer, everybody. Actually, you know what? No, the price done gone up. We're going to charge $169.42. That's what we're gonna charge for that, Joe. And you know what? I'm gonna take 20% off that because I just hawked it for you. So I'm giving you sales right now, Joe. So I want 20% off the top, and then we can go down the line from that. But you know what? Crazy day. I mean, crazy day. Lucid, like, what are we talking? 45% downside as they get absolutely woodshed. People talking about them going bankrupt, and I can tell you, I mean, if you were in this stock long, you got punched in the mouth. Let's be real. And everyone, you can get punched in the mouth when you have a plan. When you don't have a plan, it's actually about to halt up for sure. But, the truth of the matter is, we've all seen it. You know what the setup is. You know the rules. When the market opens up, all goes out the window because you don't even have a plan of action that you can follow in real time. So we're going to help you build a one-page trading plan live here in this video. By the end, you'll have a complete system on a single sheet of paper that you can print out and put next to your screen. Sean's gonna walk you through exactly how to do this so you can enhance your profits.
All right, thanks, Neil. We all need a trading plan, right? I mean, we're going to work through one right here, right now, and I think it's appropriate that I'm doing this because one of my big problems is eliminate the opening bell noise. You want to try to get rid of that first instinct that you have when that bell hits to make a trade. There's a lot of noise in the open. We're going to discuss that as well. Market orders, limit orders, busting through different price levels. You got to forget about that. And this is also suppress your psychological impulse to make errors and lock in consistent sizing. I mean, that's really what it's all about. Have your plan, have an actionable idea so that we can move forward and trade profitably off the open. So here we go. This is what we need to have. And we've all been talking about this for a long time, and it's just a watch list, right? And a couple things that we're going to look at real quick is relative volume. Are the names that we're looking at trading higher volume than they on average print in the pre-market, right? That's what we're looking at. We're getting set up for the opening trade. So this is not once the bell hits. This is in the pre-market. And are we taking trades from yesterday? Do we see volume continuation from yesterday into today's trading? Maybe it's a weekly trend. You want to look at names that are doing relatively high volume. Also, has there been a gap or not in the stock? Are we opening up where we closed? Has there been an actionable trade in the pre-market at all? We'll talk about that. And then where are we as far as key levels? All right. Then we got the catalyst check. Has it been an earnings play? If it is, maybe we got to trade that a little differently if it's an earnings play. Is it a name that's moving on some sort of a story? Maybe there's a contract they've gotten. You have to understand what's going on there. It is impact on earnings and on news. Then we're looking for the big thing here is what we're talking about, volume weighted average price. Do we reclaim the volume weighted average price, or do we have an opening range break on that stock? Is it a gap and go type of strategy? This is what we're talking about here with execution, right? Are we taking a VWAP reclaim? Are we taking a breakout? Are we taking a gap and a continuation play? These are things to look for. And then big one right here. Do not use market orders. Set your trades, get the prices you want. And if you miss those prices, fine. But do not put in a market order, especially off the open. You never know what prices you're going to get there. It does protect slippage. Slippage meaning that, hey, if you want to get short or long at a certain price, you don't get 20 cents higher or lower. You get the price that you put in. And then we're going to be very, very patient. Something I'm working on, eliminate that first 5 minutes, okay? Then this is the key thing for you guys as well. You want to make sure you lock in some sizing. Understand it first starts off with what's your maximum amount of risk you're willing to do, right? 1% I think is fair, depending on what size of capital you're working with there. So if it's 1%, that's $500. You got a $50,000 account. You're going 500 shares if it's going to be 20 cents of a stop, or $1, 500 shares for your 1%. You just got to figure it out. All right, here's a trade, and this is a trade that I actually took. So all of these markers on here are going to be what we're looking at. Well, this is SpaceX. Okay, it actually doesn't show SpaceX on here. It's supposed to, but it doesn't. This is the opening range right here on SpaceX. So we have a high of 144.50 and a low rate here of 143, marked by our opening range, right? So here we go. The blue line here, VWAP. So something that we're always going to look at. And then over here, we see into yesterday's close, high relative volume with good printing happening here in the pre-market. Unfortunately, you're not going to see huge volume spikes in the pre-market, but take my word for it, it did have high relative volume in the pre-market, okay? So now let's go over to the trade and let's break it down. Okay, here's the opening trade that we have right now. And what it was, here's the opening range, right? There's your 144, there's your 143, and here's the breakdown. Okay, so what we do is in the first 5 minutes, which is all this noise, what did we say? Ding, let's not trade in the first 5 minutes. So we don't do that. What happens is VWAP, very choppy, up and down through VWAP, goes right up into the top range. That would have been a great trade, but within the first 5 minutes, we don't take it. Then look at this, whack, all the way to the downside. There's an opening range breakout. Downside. So right there, we're looking for the short in this name. And there it comes through, the opening range breakdown. So we first do take, and we mark on here that we want to try to go 2-to-1, right? 2-to-1 on the winners versus the losers, risk to reward. But right away, we immediately take on this one, 143 stop right here, that's 143. This is 141. So right there, our stop is going to be $1. These are $2 outs. Because I'm who I am and I like to scalp out a little bit, I take some out right here for about 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. The majority of the trading right down here at 141 with your 2-to-1 risk. But here's VWAP. Look at it following it all the way down. We can ignore VWAP for now because that was not part of the trading plan. We take the opening range break. So this is what we're doing. We take the trade. Where does the stop loss go? Right above here, right where our opening range was already established. So that's where our stop loss is. Then what we're doing is there's the 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. We know that we need to at least make 2 on this for our one stop. We do that, happens pretty quickly, and then whack, all the way down. So these are 138s. So that actually turns out to be $5 against $1 right there. That's a good trade. So let's talk about what we did. We scanned the RVOL. We got a catalyst. It's SpaceX, baby. So the catalyst is recent IPO with a lot of volume. We like it. That's the catalyst. What's the setup? Wait that 5 minutes. That's what we did. Ignore the noise. We did that. Yes, that was a good trade right there, right? What's our cutoff? 2 p.m. Now, this trade doesn't go into 2 p.m. I mean, it keeps on going down. And you can see we do have some great outs down there. And actually, the time there is 2 p.m. right here where we start to get out. So make sure that you understand the closing trades will happen. You want to make sure you're out of this trade as soon as you hit key levels, which you do again there at 2 p.m. And then this is key too, right? Do your daily review. You can't go wrong reviewing your trades. You have to make sure that you're looking at the positives and negatives of every single idea that you have. So this is a brief rundown of how to plan your trade with a few key ideas: relative volume, opening range break, make sure you're looking at VWAP and get it going. No gap and go here, but the move definitely gets to the downside. That's your trade plan.
That's your plan, and it's not about being perfect. It's just about being consistent, and that's how you do it. And you know what? If you want to check out the journal, that's what'll show you how to adjust. So if you want the full system, you can check our playlist to be able to grab that. And as we get back into things, we got to go right up to the desk. Adara's got an update for us.
I have an update on Lucid, guys. So as you know here, about probably at this point 6+ hours ago, EV, which is a publication, they report that Lucid is considering either filing for Chapter 11 protections or going private. Apparently, they've been meeting with advisors. And then we have Bloomberg reporting just now that Lucid has denied these reports. They actually said, and I quote, that, quote, the rumors are completely false. So Lucid, not even calling it reporting, saying it's rumors and saying they are absolutely untrue. Apparently, furthermore, saying that they have sufficient liquidity to fund their operations well into next year. So Lucid pouring a whole bunch of cold water on these reports that sent it sharply to the downside, suggesting it's either filing for Chapter 11 or going private. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Someone's saying in the chat, Neil, did you play Lucid? Absolutely not. I played Rivian. I was mentioning that before we came back on here, that I was just going to look for the bottom in Rivian. I like sympathy plays better in situations like this. And effectively, as long as Rivian didn't break $16.50, like this support level, I'm just going to take shots at the low. Once I see a curl, I see the buying try to step in on Lucid or even on Rivian, I'll jump in, put my stop at the LOD. The other time I put it at the 75 when it got the 85. But the key is, if you're looking for a reversion trade like this, it's falling knife, it's VWAP or bust, right? Like if I'm giving it 10 cents, my first take profit's 10 cents there, and I'm holding it for the 30 or the 40. Just for everyone that's looking at Lucid, if you are trading it, it appears it will be a 10-minute halt, so it should open like a minute or so because it's been 9 minutes already. The current tap is 370. So it's looking like it's going to close in a decent size of the gap after they've come out and refuted the report. So that should open up almost any second now. Lucid, we're just joking. It's crazy. Like when we were talking about Rivian the other day, I was joking around about how bad Lucid was in comparison, although you couldn't see that. You couldn't have seen this. It's not like you saw this coming, but
the thing is, when the story hit, I put in the chat and I tried to do it, and I shouldn't have been so lazy. I said, this is a zero. You know, I was talking about that in the chat, even when it came out, and it actually spiked up initially. Lucid.
It went up initially?
Yeah, if you look at the chart there, it did.
Oh, yeah, a little
here,
bit.
Here,
yeah,
this LCID. First of all, I'm short a bunch of things right here. I mean, I'm short Microsoft, 40 cents. We're long. Nvidia is now $8 now in the money. But yeah, it went up on that first report, almost got to $6 there, and then fell all the way back down. And this is that trade we're talking about here. Small piece left, man. It's so stupid. I put down 210.50 as our out, and unfortunately that one does fill. Okay, I'm looking right now, and we can go because we are ready to talk about OGen right here. We are seeing some updates out of Orogenics, of course, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. This company has now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA approval therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring, of course, exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Go check it out. It's ticker OGEN. Yeah, it's amazing that we got thrown off a little bit here by the first opening, and we just talked about it on our board there. We actually wait for the first 5 minutes before we actually take a fill here on Nvidia, but it does break through our 205 area. We gave it to 204.50, which was exactly the right area to give it to, but then boom, it just took off of that level, and it hasn't seen really a downside movement other than this move right there at 10 o'clock. We could have got long again at 204, but didn't. That's really the mistake right there. We rebought that back, and now it's upside there on Nvidia. I'm trying to short and doing a pretty good job, I think, here of Microsoft underneath the 25 period moving average, just giving it this little look right here against 288. So hoping that this one can fall back in, as the software names today have been on a little struggling. I thought if the Nasdaq did give some back, it might be on the back of some of these names. So it looks like for right now, we're not having an overly huge move, but we'll take 50 cents right there in the money right now on Microsoft, and we'll see if that one can make a move down. My worst stock of the day, and it was one of the best ones yesterday, and we took it late yesterday, was SK Hynix. Just short. Shorts were fine every single time, though. It seems like it's just gone up against us. Fighting the trend, this is what's going to happen to you. We stopped out right there at 177, which was thankful, because when that happened, bang, it just ripped up to 183, then it ripped up to 188. But then we started shorting again, and this is where it was working, really working. And then our last stop right there, thankfully we didn't average back in to put a loser on the board for our last attempt. But yeah, SK Hynix right now taking out the top of the day right there, 187.50. SK Hynix going boom to the upside today, big time movement over there. And then we're just, I don't know. I mean, when we were doing the lesson up there at 2 o'clock, we did get a bid on SpaceX. So we're short right here. The problem is we only got a bid of small. We got a bid of 10%. So we still have 90% of this position. Out of the money now, 5 cents. But SpaceX trying to go short maybe against this 139 area right there. But yeah, we're starting to get a little excited here on SPCX. So maybe 139.50 we can tap out and then reassess this one if it goes against us.
Yeah, SpaceX has been like the hidden dog, really, because SK Hynix has gotten so much attention. Obviously, you need like the shiny new thing syndrome, man. Looks like Lucid is not going to open. So when you're past 10 minutes, I don't know what to tell you. All bets are a little bit off. Like, you can start thinking about every 5 minutes from here. It is a volatility hold. They've disseminated that they've refuted the report. So maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 20 minutes. At this point, I don't know what to tell you. I've seen longer than 15. I've seen longer than 20. So just be prepared at any moment. The tap is now $4. So it's continuing higher. The tap just keeps on going higher and higher and makes me want to re-enter Rivian, to be honest with you. As long as it keeps tapping higher, like maybe this is just a go all the way back kind of deal and not a VWAP thing. Like Lucid is not even if it opens at $4, it was at $5.50 up top, and like it wasn't Rivian's bad news. So I'm kind of thinking if we keep holding this tap, I'd rather it be open to make this kind of a play. But as long as the tap keeps going up, I want to see a dip down into 17, maybe a little bit of a continuation for sure. So yeah, crazy what happened over here in Lucid. And I just find like the sympathy play can be a little bit easier to try to grab, because it's like if something is down in sympathy, Palantir would be an example. Like even the slightest bounce and it can fire back up because it's not the one with the bad news. It just kind of got, sort of taken out, like what do they call it? Throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Exactly. Like that's the phrase. So I think that's kind of what happened here with Rivian. I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. Like so many of these other ones have gone bankrupt by now. So the other thing I'm in right now is Silver, SLV. This is more of like a consolidation reload. We were short earlier in the day on a trend break. And if it gets to VWAP, I think that's a separate trade. So I want to give this just above this afternoon stop and look for a play to break the lows. But if we bust here, then I want to look for the volume-weighted average price as a separate kind of trade. So that's what I'm in. We'll wait for Lucid to open up because it feels like that's going to be crazy and going to be a bit of a mover. So when Lucid goes, that or Rivian, I think are going to be some plays this afternoon. Going to check back in on V for everybody. V is for victory.
Today, yeah. What is the price now?
46.
Okay.
The high is still 48. I guess it hasn't made a fresh high since noon. What are you doing, V? Should I slap the fail on you? You're not even at $50 yet?
No.
Come on, son. Come on. You got to get to 50 bones at least.
It's got to get
50,
going.
75, hundo. The squeeze is on with V. It's probably wrecking a few hedgies today, I'm going to guess, or some large, we like to short the crazy parabolic traders are having a rough time with V because it does just enough. I'm guessing here. It seems like it's doing just enough to get people to get into some shorts and think they've got the one that's going all the way down. Like a couple of times it's done it. So I can just imagine like the 38 to 42 shorts that are hoping 50 doesn't go because they think that if it doesn't, then they're going to get all the way back in. But that's the dangerous game. That's why I like reversions, but these things are a different story because you can't really control your risk. Like if you short SLV, you're going to get out your stop plus a couple of cents. Even with like SK Hynix or the IPOs, there's a certain reasonability to managing risk on them on the way out if you're in the wrong direction. With V, your guess is as good as mine what your fill would be if you got short in front of 50 and 50 broke. Yeah. I couldn't tell you, and I think that's part of the problem with those trades.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to figure out where the stop orders have to go. Easy to find the stop order, but hard to find out about the slippage, what makes it hard, again, about share sizing, which is a very, very tough thing to do for a stock like running like that. It's so stupid because I like the 27 break on V and didn't do anything about it. All right, so just my stop now on Nvidia. 211.50, just that's where this area is right there. My first stop was 210.50, and thankfully that almost got ran but didn't, so that's the thankful part. So we're gonna wait for 211.50 where the 25 period moving average is, just out of the last little bit of a shot there. But meanwhile, here we go, man. We just put this trade on as well. Ozan, what's up? There's Microsoft coming back in, so now that's about $1 or so in the money now with Microsoft. A couple of reloads there, one there on this break sort of through the 25 period, get a little bit out there for like 20 cents and some more here. And then now we're starting to break down. We take it underneath the 200 period moving average. Let's see if Microsoft can give us a decent pullback here. And then SpaceX finally starting to make a move back in. I just put a bid at 20s, so 21 actually. Hopefully we can just run down a little bit here. I don't know, man. The market's staying upside, so it's looks pretty good to me. I mean, the market's really holding this 50 period, and again, don't want to fight the trend, but maybe we're doing that here with some SpaceX and some Microsoft. So yeah, we're going to try to get out of these trades and go up over to Adair and see what she's up to.
Keep an eye here, guys, on SIRI. New York Post reporting that Howard Stern is laying off a dozen staffers and preparing to drop to only releasing one new show per week on SiriusXM. So again, as noted, host of a variety of programs here, Howard Stern reportedly prepares to, I guess, drop his amount of content that's being released on the platform. Sirius here, SIRI, pushing a little bit lower here, actually into low of days right now. Back to you.
You know, Sirius stock has been, well, I'm willing to bet for a lot of people it's better than you would expect if you pull it up there.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Berkshire has been buying it. I don't know how much they've got, so maybe that's a, I don't know, it's hard to tell with some of the recent stuff, like how much of that's Buffett and how much that's Able, or maybe it's like in between, or maybe it doesn't even matter. I don't know. But this has been in a pretty good uptrend. Like, go Siri. That's all I got to say. I mean, in a time where almost nobody has Sirius satellite radio. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most people that you know don't have Sirius satellite radio. I famously got a really long run of it for free. Thank you very much to very good customer service. But eventually you're like, yeah, but you're just using the stuff on your phone anyway. So yeah, is it even worth it? That said, they've got it. They've got a good trend going on. So shout out to everyone that's been able to pick that one out. If you like riding with one of the winners that Berkshire has been able to get, congratulations. This Lucid tap, you know what? I'm gonna take a quick nibble if I can get Phil in the bid here in Rivian, because it's still tapping $4.40. Like, it was $4, I think, the last we said to you. Now the theoretical auction price is $4.40. At this point, it's been 20 minutes.
Lucid, eh? Apparently Randy's the one that's getting in there, and he's the take private guy. So Randy's
well, who knows? But this is one of the longer hauls.
Lucid, change the pricing at there. Get involved with the Saudis.
U.S.
Air Force is currently conducting airstrikes in Iran. There you go, Randy, airstrikes.
Hold on a second. Let's look at USO go.
The thing is, no, Randy's not involved in the airstrikes, he says, but he is involved in this Lucid buyout. So we're going to wait to see. Yeah, no, sell all the XOM and just buy Lucid. Okay, Randy, and we'll figure it all out.
So this is you?
Lucid now has, it's about under $1 billion right now on the market cap there for Lucid. We can go over here and check
Randy,
out
have you seen
Tesla real quick here. Yeah, Randy was here.
Oh, you saw, okay.
Yeah, he was here.
Okay.
He saw that play down there. Yeah, Tesla not moving, but it's Rivian that kind of got hit on that story, and Rivian went down to what, 1640 or so? Yeah, right there. Look at this. whoosh, down to there 1670. That would have been a good one to buy that dip, and then breaking out right there, back upside 1680. So we'll see if Rivian can hold fort here with not the greatest story behind LCID. And so again, they've come out and refuted sort of any of this go private or any issues with the stock in general. But we know that they've already reverse split a bunch of times here, is Lucid, and now it's tapping 440. I'm not sure it's going to open back up today, but if it does, we're going to be here with LCID. Can you imagine 330 up to 440 again? Like, that's pretty good, man. You got to pay for those shorts and get into that short if it does come through. But another name, Randy, that's a legacy name, IBM.
Be another
all the way to the downstairs, all the way to the downside there of 215 right there as a bottom possibly for IBM, down 25%. One of the worst days in the history, I would assume, here for international business machines.
I got a quarter says it's the worst day.
Yeah, I would think
how could it not? If it's not,
I would think it. I mean, there might be, even on like major Nasdaq pull down days. I mean, IBM doesn't. It's not like the rest of them. It does have. It used to have like a little bit of a moat around it there. But I like the quantum name with IBM and what that means for them. But yeah, it's pulled right back into some of these daily levels. So I think if you have your Roth or RRSP situation here in Canada, IBM also pays about a 3% dividend. So probably pays a better dividend than some of the oil names. And you get some of that tech play as well. So IBM on the downside.
What's
here,
it right now?
Probably worth grabbing some of those.
It's close.
What is it? It's down
It was
25.
on Black Monday.
Okay.
Because IBM's been around a very long
that
time. 23.7% down on
there you
Black Monday. And right now it's just worsened. So think about that.
Probably closes higher than this, but
Yeah, like, I wonder if you think that could be a level? The Black Monday. We're talking about 1987. Black Monday is the last time IBM had this bad of a day.
yeah, I don't think anybody's looking at that level, but
No, I don't think they are either.
yeah,
but
maybe down 25%.
this shows you how bad it is.
right now. What you got, Adara?
What I have here is some more context for what's happening in the Middle East. Seeing reports at first from ABC here that there are airstrikes underway in Iran from the U.S. Apparently, they've actually been happening for the last couple of hours. Then I just got a report as well from Iran's official news agency suggesting that U.S. projectiles have actually hit a target in the Qam region of Iran. So now we've got both Iran and the U.S. saying that the U.S. is striking Iran. Back to you.
Oh, that's what. Thank you there, Adara. So thank you to Grunfeld. LCDL is still open. So LCDL, which, by the way, is a 2x long Lucid, which trades, I mean, whatever. You've got to do a price adjustment. The chart's going to be really similar, but it trades in the pennies here. And that's still open. So when you see that tap going higher, okay, well, let's do some. So 2x long, it's up 4 times from the bottom, so 2 times from the bottom. That's too far. It's gone a little far from the bottom, though. So it's an option to trade. I mean, that being said, like what happens if Lucid doesn't open up?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if
Yeah. No, look, it's an option out there. Like, look, imagine if you were caught. Like, if you happened to be caught, like you could at least hedge yourself. There's options out there for you. But yeah, once you start getting past 10, 15, 20 minutes, let's do a little diligence here because the responsible thing to do is confirm that there is no change at the Nasdaq trade halt page. It is still saying volatility halt. So LUDP indicates volatility halt. There's a quote resumption time, but there has been no trade resumption time put up for Lucid. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait for it. But as long as it holds that tap, I tried to get back in on Rivian, and I don't think I haven't been hit. Like, since I put the bid in here, I'm still bidding 11s, trying to get picked up there. Maybe just give it a tight stop, see if we can get a push back into VWAP. As long as Lucid holds that tap higher, I think it can look pretty good. So gonna try to hunt for some other names out there as well. Plenty of time left in the session, and we got a super chat from Roland Espinoza. Greetings. Wondering, is MNST un consolidation? Monster? Well, if you want to know about Monster beverage, there's only one person around here who likes those.
Okay, don't even, because that's actually not true. It's actually fake news. Okay, so for one, I have not had like non-natural caffeine energy drinks in over a year. I would think it was around like August or July of last year when I stopped. And B, I was never into Monster. I was never ever into Monster. I would drink it occasionally if the deals were better at Sev, but I always preferred Rockstar. But now I actually drink, only that Ghost one that they sell at Sev, again, mostly on deals, because it's natural caffeine. I only do natural caffeine now. And people are like, Adara, why do you need energy? For those who don't know, I've talked about it a lot, but if I was not caffeinated, I'd literally be asleep on this desk at all times and just probably never wake up. I'm chronically sleepy, so you gotta do what you gotta do, is the point I'm trying to make. I'm sorry, Neil, this set me off a bit here. But if Monster's chart was like an energy drink, I'd drink that chart because it's a good looking chart.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I don't know if it's a consolidation. It's a beast. Consolidative top, I don't know, compared to what it was doing before, I suppose you could make the argument that it's getting consolidative off the highs, I guess. But like this, it looks more like just an upward channel to me. So like, I don't know, like I see an up channel. Does that matter? Does it matter? I
don't know what's under that stock, but it's been
going crazy. Like maybe you're talking about the last 2 days of a consolidation. No, that's an up channel in my opinion. Like you broke out one up channel to then form another up channel, top 100, and then you got about $95 on the bottom of that. So I don't know. Yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm not in the energy. I don't like those energy drinks. I know. I actually had a guy who I played ball with who could not. Like, he could not play a game if he didn't have at least one before, and then he had one going during the game.
Okay.
I'm like, well, there's a reason why, like, baseball players have the, let's just say a really high rate of diagnosis for ADHD, and therefore need to take amphetamines. It's because focus is huge in a sport where you sit there to do nothing to then be super focused and ready.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those sports when your number is called kind of deal. So, yeah, I get it, but I've never been into these things, but what an absolute monster this is. Sorry for the pun, but it is what it is, and that one has been an absolute beast. But yeah, up channel, consolidation, whatever you want to call it, I think you just got to respect the trend. There's not much happening in the overall market here, so kind of back to brass tacks here. Oh, another super chat.
She does. Yeah, thanks, Traub there. You must not be with us for very long, but yeah, as soon as news hits, Adara will come with it. Whether or not, look at that. On CrowdStrike, I just got it right here. IBM heads for worst day ever. There, I just got a note. So as we were just talking about, the worst day ever for IBM. And yeah, Adara will come with the news as soon as she gets it. It's not working in my ear today, but hopefully it will spike through, and we'll get some important ideas from Adara if they do and when they do hit. We just took out some more Microsoft there at 80. Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't, as Neil said, it doesn't look like the market's doing much. But I think right here we've kind of made these highs around 29.9 or so. That is the very high. That's that high from the open right there, the CPI number that came through. And man, did we nail that sort of discussion when we talked about the CPI upside, and then all the way back, gives it all the way back about 10-15 or so. We make that low again and actually wick down right into the pre-market lows, and then it's just been straight upside, and we went right back there. Well, straight upside from that low. I mean, I guess it comes back here into VWAP, but then comes right back, ticks out high around again that 29.9 similar level there, and then now we just couldn't really get going. I'm a little afraid that we do, break higher and start to test, and at that situation, the shorts that I have will get washed out. But, we don't have very many shares, and we're just trying to see what can happen here with this name, Microsoft. Underneath, down 1%, market a little lower. If the market bleeds, I want to play a name that's relatively weak instead of relatively strong. We have the strong name in our account right now. It's Nvidia. Nvidia's up 4.5%, man. And this name was just absolutely rocking. And written down right here on the note today was the number one trade idea for myself today was going to be Nvidia 205 long. So how's that one printing out right now, right? I mean, that's the number one trade. And then Palantir, I mean, in a day where we started off a little, I wrote these down before the CPI number, but we liked the Palantir long because of the IBM weakness. Thought that was wrong, and we actually talked about that here, that Palantir was getting hit here on IBM earnings miss, and again, it was a pre-earnings miss. That Palantir is still operating at a high level and should catch a bid. So that's exactly what happens to Palantir there. SK Hynix wrong. Oh no, that was long at 155, 156. I've only been short, but that never got into 155. And then IBIT longs. We actually had all longs written down today, which was good. And you can see now the market up that 1.3%. And let's just take a look here. I'm not in SK Hynix anymore, but that 155 never came through. It never even broke through 160. It started the day at 160. Then we just short here. Wow, 190 now
I guess
for SK Hynix. I mean, I'm glad we got out of that one, but wow, what a break.
I think one of the things,
190?
we're going to go up to the desk in one quick second, but right before we do, part of the IBM report did say that CapEx spending is going to memory. And so SK Hynix catches the bounce.
No doubt.
So that was the lead story of today.
What's his name too? Nvidia's up based on just CapEx going to the data center build-outs as well. So.
And that's one of the things you find in the watch list curated by Adara, who's at the screen right now.
Ooh.
Let's see what she's got for us.
It's time for today's edition of To the Window, to the Wall, where I pick out an infographic window here and we talk about it on the wall. Now, if you guys have been here for a minute, you might know that I love making infographics, but I also love congressional hearings. And today I get to combine those loves by giving you guys a visual rundown of Fed Chair Kevin Warsh, you can see him right here, of his appearance at the semi-annual monetary policy report, the House edition. So he's going to do the House today. He already actually did this House testimony. Then tomorrow he goes off to the Senate Banking Committee, and he does another round of basically the same thing. Usually the prepared remarks that these Fed chairs will give are going to be more or less the same at both these events. But what is going to change are, of course, the people questioning him. So with that in mind, ahead of the Senate version of this hearing, I wanted to take you guys through some of the highlights at the House meeting. So basically how I made this visual is I just took notes as I heard Warsh say anything interesting. At first, I was just going to focus on the task forces, but then I was like, actually, anything that I think is interesting, I can maybe make it to a visual. So I'll write it all down. So we'll start here with what we have up on this side. You've got Frank Lucas asking about task forces, saying basically, hey, can you take us through these task forces, Fed Chair Warsh? And he said that they're currently in, quote, discovery mode, but he wants to keep people updated as they continue to develop. Now, because I did this in chronological order, we're going to hop over here to Representative Andy Barr asking about reforms that Warsh is trying to make, as we know, to the Federal Reserve. So he said these reforms are going to be forthcoming and everything at the Fed. So he really wants to do a full overhaul. Now we're going to slide over on this side of things here to take a look at what he said to Representative Gregory Meeks, who was asking, is the Fed independent? And we got this question from a lot of specifically Democratic representatives saying, how can you ensure to us, Mr. Fed Chair Warsh, that the Fed remains independent? And Warsh said that he will follow the data, quote, even if Trump criticizes me. Now that last point is going to be important as we get to the final quote on this little board here from Representative Mouser, who's asking about this cooler than expected June CPI print. As we are all aware, the market digested this morning. But Warsh isn't too excited about this cooler than expected print. He said that he's not going to be cherry picking data, and he doesn't want to, quote, go out here and say mission accomplished. Now, that point about CPI had some people that I saw on social media saying, Trump might not like that. We're going to have to wait and see what the responses are. But either way, I had a lot of fun making this. Please let me know what you think and expect a very similar infographic here after the Senate hearing. Now, of course, that Senate hearing with Mr. Warsh is going to take place starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. And around that time is when you're going to see this visual. So it's not an exit TTV research yet, but it will be there very shortly. Thank you guys so much for letting me take a little bit of your time for one of these infographics. That's today's edition of To the Window, to the Wall, as we send it back over to the guys at the desk.
Straight up instant street cred when your name is Frank Lucas. I'm just throwing it out. And if you've not seen the scene where Frank Lucas, an American gangster, is in the diner, that's just an all-time great scene. Everything Brew, ARBE, thanks Gabe. Shout out to you. Before we get to that, they finally halted LCDL. So the 2X is halted because should it not be halted when Lucid is halted? That's just common sense to me, but it wasn't before. So ARBE Robotics, penny stock. If you send the super chat, don't mind looking up for you. Nothing wrong with a small capper that holds VWAP, that trends higher, habitual line stepper, however, and still under the dollar. So anytime you get a rally to try to penny stock to go to the dollar level when it's been under a little while, you've got to be a bit careful. Lucid just opened.
It did?
So Lucid just, of course, right when we were talking about something else. Lucid just opened. It did open at that 440 and immediately starting to come right down here. So it's working to the downside. Rivian spiked. I thought it was just like a quick scalp into VWAP, but I'm just going to, actually don't have to tighten my stop.
We could try the short against 440.
I don't actually have to tighten the stop. I can just leave the stop. If it's going to go higher, I just want to hold this and see where it can go here on RIVN. Because Lucid, like if Lucid were to just even get to 5, you've got to think if Lucid closes the gap from 5 to 550, that's a fade. Or like up here, I'm thinking fade. But if it could break that high, look for a VWAP press and for Rivian to get up into here. So yeah, Lucid crazy volume on this. It's going to crack 100 million shares.
Oh, yes.
That's not what I meant to go to. I meant to go to
In the next
17.
little while, I think this will crack.
Easy. And wait till you see the close on this. If it's still trading at the close, it could always have halts. I would suspect you're going to see some absolute fireworks even in the last 10 minutes. We're going to go to it. We're going to go to SIA now at the desk, I believe.
Oh, good.
That is absolutely right. You're going to see it now. SPY is currently up 0.43% at the moment. The triple Q is up, God bless you, 1.5%, very close. The Dow is down a little bit, but I would say it's relatively flat on the day. It's a bit towards the red over there. And the IWM still holding the same momentum from earlier in the day, up 0.32%. Let's take a look at two things that I do want to talk to you about. First is the SOXX, which is the semiconductor stocks are overall swinging more than at any point since the early pandemic period now. The iShares semiconductor ETF, that is the SOXX, right now is up more than 3% as of today after dropping 4.8% yesterday. So the 50-day rolling standard deviation overall of daily returns for this particular ticker, SOXX has climbed to 4.2%, which has been at its highest level since the month of May in 2020. Also, Mizuho has downgraded Circle to underperform and also cut its price target on the shares to $50 from $85, saying that the launch of OpenUSD, that's the OUSD, could potentially disrupt the company's stablecoin business model. So with that, Circle is currently down on the day, well, relatively almost flat, but tilting towards the red, 0.14%.
Yuck, Circle.
Right.
You know what's bad for Circle,
About this, Lisa.
given how good, it's barely even able to get into the green here today. You'd think with the recovery that we had, so many things have been able to not just pull V-shape, but like break back out a little bit here. Okay, Lucid doesn't want to move out of the price range. Look, I will be surprised if Lucid sits between $4 and $4.50 after that halt. I was expecting a break up, but if that doesn't happen, I'm going to slip out of Rivian. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. SLV, that is starting to come back in. It just tagged. Okay, we just broke the 53. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see. We're bidding the 52.8, kind of right in here. There was the gap at 830. You know, CPI, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what that was? The CPI. So it was right in front of the 52.8 level on SLV. So I'm looking to grab that. If we break this, then I'm looking to close the gap into 52.5. So maybe Lucid is a little bit of a, I don't think it stays nothing burger for long, but for right now, it's a little bit choppy. Nick Dubs, $10 super chat for Adara for Ghost Energy plus all the news and contributions she makes. Adara, could you make a graphic outlining the biggest inflows and outflows of hedge funds each quarter? Keep up the hard work. Great idea, Nick.
Thank you so much for the kind words and for the super chat. I'm going to take a note of this because I usually like to kind of have research flows when I do things. I'm going to take a note of this. I'm going to start looking into this because I really appreciate you guys giving me all the ideas. Some of them are a little bit harder to kind of visualize, but I definitely want to look at these largest inflows and outflows of these hedge funds. I'm going to start doing some research right now, see how I can start collecting data. But thank you very much.
All right, good look there.
There you go, Nick. Ask and you shall receive, just like that.
Idea. We're now $1. I mean, Nvidia's $8. Microsoft's now $1 in the money, as there goes Microsoft to the downside, and we're trying to be, careful with where we take our fills. There's another one at the 200 period moving average. I said we're trying to get a little bit better on where I'm still trying to set up my headphones here, by the way. We're trying to get better on the fills, right? And so right into there, took the short, getting some out right here at the 200 period moving average and waiting for 386, hopefully on the downside to come through. We can change our Nvidia, but I'm still at 211.50, right? That's where the stop is. That hasn't really hit yet. So we'll give it back upside, just a very small percent left, under 5%. All right, a few additional strikes. I mean, we can go back in and look at USO again. I mean, it's
not moving.
It's up 2%. We had a good 8.5% day yesterday or so. I'm not sure where it closed, but nice day yesterday. Yeah, maybe closing near. Yeah, so it pulls back a little. I think that was 9%. So let's call it 9% or so yesterday. USO makes a huge run early on in the pre-market, fades back out there, another bump up, and now you're trying to hold VWAP. So we'll see out of all this up and down, we end the day here. Well, not end the day, it's 244, but here around the volume weighted average price. So we'll have to have a look to see if that's going to be a trigger spot or not for USO. And, a name that we had looked at the other couple of days was Battle. Again, wow. First of all, Battle's not doing anything, so forget it. Lucid right now is ripping. So I didn't think we'd be saying that at some point here today, but all the way back, man. Did they ever dare come out and say like
They
yay or nay to that? Yeah.
Lucid
Yeah,
did.
so I mentioned that at first Bloomberg reported it, but it actually looks like someone from the company posted it, which is what Bloomberg reported on. They said,
Okay.
quote, the rumors are completely false. They said they are meeting with this partner that I guess they were reportedly meeting with, but apparently this person had not suggested Chapter 11 or going private, which is what this report basically said.
Right.
Suggested to them. They said, hey, that's not happening. We actually have enough cash to run our operations, quote, well into
Sure you
next year.
do.
So they're saying not only is this false, it's actually patently untrue, and we have a lot going on for us that I guess this report did not mention. And again, I always thought it was odd. This thing started like moving on this hours after it came out. I flagged it at the time. I flagged it again every time I mentioned it because I just found that to be really suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's, at this point, it might seem like a little bit of fake news there because Adair had mentioned, for some reason, the story kind of just started going at 12:40, and we have that post from earlier, so it's kind of strange that we, get some movement on this name kind of at a random time there. So I don't know if someone loaded up some of their position and finally started to, promote that release there, and it was saying that, they could run out of money or they could look to go private, they could file Chapter 11. It was ifs and buts and, candies and nuts, I guess, at the end of the day.
Take them private.
I don't know, and I think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, like usually when there's speculation about
looking at
taking
that?
private, you're speculating as to who might do it, or maybe there'd be an inside investor, an activist investor, or something like.
On the midday, they mentioned Apple failed at it. It's only $1 billion valuation. I don't think Apple has any interest in anything like that. Maybe a Waymo. I mean, these guys are trying to build their Waymo cars. I mean, if they can do something similar to a robo-taxi with Lucid technology. I mean, I know they're a higher priced vehicle, but maybe something in that space there.
Well, you know what? Sometimes when you get crazy price action like this, all you can do is say the chart don't lie.
No, it doesn't lie.
And when the charts don't lie, well, pretty much they never do. We like to talk to our favorite chart analyst, Mr. Brian Shannon. How's it going, brother? Good to see you. It's Tuesday, back. We got Brian here. How's your day been? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. I don't know what happened last week. Something came up. I don't think I gave you notice, but
it's all good.
Anyway, we're here. And the markets are behaving well overall. You got to be impressed. They're holding on, but they're not really making any progress, right? We've just got kind of choppy action.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to be at least a little bit impressed with the markets here today. But I want to talk to you right off the bat. I know at some point maybe we will talk about Lucid, but let's talk about the other thing it's running. It wasn't an IPO, but SK Hynix in this ADR. The run that it
surprised me.
The run that it is on today. I mean, first of all, just the regular sort of buy the open trade, absolute insanity, the pullback, and then the run that it's on today. What do we make of that? It defies expectations for myself. I mean, technically, what are you seeing? It's a runaway freight train.
This morning I thought that it was probably gapping up and was not going to hold those gains. In fact, I put out a tweet saying, it's right at daily R2. It was at the anchor from the IPO or uplisting, whatever you want to call it. But man, what an impressive rally this is. We had the slight pullback here, a little lower low just to scare people out. And then the buyers came back in, took out this little peak right here and up and away. So you can't argue with this type of momentum. It's pretty crazy. I see, it's funny now that everyone, myself included, have the KOSPI, whatever the ticker is. I don't think it's KOSPI, but they've got the ticker for that on their screens, and everyone's looking at that. Last night, the KOSPI was down, 3-4%. Everyone thought we were going to have a horrible day, and it opened higher this morning. So, you just got to go with this momentum. As long as it continues to make these higher highs and higher lows intraday, then don't fight it. But I haven't traded it.
Okay, I want to jump to the other end of the spectrum because as much as SK Hynix is up, you're down pretty much the same thing on IBM. We were saying the statistic. This is IBM's worst day since Black Monday in 1987, and it'll actually end up being worse than that. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, when you have an event like this, it could be earnings, I don't care what it is. If you're down over 20%, what are we pulling back into on IBM for those that are like, hey, it's got the dividend, it's a quantum play in the future? The CEO woodshedded it with his letter. Do you see anything technically that would even give some kind of a hope? We were looking at the 220 level this morning for a quick bounce. We held it briefly and then lost it. What are you seeing with IBM? Just woodshed it today.
Yeah, if you go back on the weekly chart, you've got a couple of important lows that I have anchors on. This one right here is from, the third quarter of 2023 and then of 2022 as well. So it's kind of come into this zone, and you can see it bounced previously from here, had that really nice bounce. That was with the government funding news. I think, though, that before I would be interested in buying this stock, I have an alert set at 212.50. which is just below the prior, the low from last move down into this zone. So actually, where is that? Sorry for flipping around. There we go. On a half-day chart, we can see it here, that this low right here, a lot of times, if it can undercut that, that is 212.34. So I've got an alert set at 212.50. So if it gets down into that zone, undercuts this, then I want to start to watch it carefully on a very short-term time frame and look for evidence that maybe it's due for a bounce. But just some ugly action in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible what it did. And there's one more, and this is going to stick with the same theme. And we talk about sympathy plays all the time, or maybe look at the names that are getting affected that aren't the primary. And the example I want to use is Palantir. Now, in this particular case, a lot of the software names were getting rugged because of IBM. Pure program buy off the open, but it has been in a bit of a downtrend. So my thoughts would be, is that running into anything that we'd be concerned about? Because when you have bad news in the sector and the buyers come into it, that makes you think it's bullish. Bad news, up move, most people are going to look bullish. Is Palantir running into anything of your concern, or do we have a potential turn in sentiment for it?
I think that, what we saw the last couple of weeks was this important breakdown right here. So as it broke down below 128 or whatever this level is, let's just see, 126-ish. It broke below there and trapped the short sellers, and it trapped people who had their stops under there. So from failed moves often come fast moves, we hear. So it came back up through there, and it's become more neutral. Now, as it's hanging out above that level, it creates a better environment for it to move higher. I think that this is an important low for most likely a while. So we want to put an anchor off of that low. That's pretty much where we opened on the stock this morning and rallied from. So today's low is going to be very important to measure risk against going forward. We do have the declining 50-day moving average. We're still below the year-to-date anchor and below a 200. But as far as a stock that looks like maybe it could make its, sorry, I didn't mean to use that tool, its measured move objective, if this is down here, point A, let's just call it 110, to point B is 140, then we take the low of this, that's 30 points, and add it to there. That would give us an objective around 152-ish or so. So this being point A, B, C, and then D would be the measured move objective. And that seems reasonable. So I think you've got to start looking at this as a bounce candidate for, at least a test of the year-to-date anchor initially. And then if it can continue up towards that 152, and then you'll see the 200-day moving average, which is declining in that same zone.
All right, thank you, Brian. By the way, right now,
today's low, clearly. Sorry, Sean.
No, how's it going? No, I thought you were finished. I always want to let you finish. Yeah. That is for sure. By the way, just a quick update here. We are short still Microsoft off of some of these levels now, $1.70 in the money, and we're just starting to cover a little bit more. I'm trying to get better, Brian, at holding instead of having all of these outs, but there it goes to the downside. It's Microsoft. Yeah, I had written down here Palantir for the long today. We've still got $8 in the money here on Nvidia, which is a pretty good trade. All right, so I'm going to go over Lucid. I don't know if you saw the news today, but apparently Lucid right now, this name has reverse split many times. Our charts will show it. The last time was September. We went, I believe it was 225, so 10-1 right there. It's split back here again, I believe. Maybe it was only once, but at the end of the day here, report coming out that maybe Lucid is under a little bit of fire, for potentially going private, maybe even a Chapter 11. A couple halts into here. I don't think this is necessarily the way that you trade, especially intraday off news like this, but maybe if we look at a daily chart of Lucid, is there anything that you're seeing here for traders looking to maybe trade this? I'm looking to go short on it. What do you think when you see a chart that looks like Lucid?
Yeah, I mean, I just backed it up to a monthly chart, Sean, and this is an all-time low right in here. So clearly, the path of least resistance has been and continues to be lower. Doesn't mean you can't get some great day trades out of it. I mean, this thing it doubled intraday here today, which is just kind of insane to think about when it's down 20%. It has doubled off of its low. You've got to be trading this off a 1-minute chart and really glued to the screen and be prepared for these halts as well. Once they make those moves, that's that's a scary time to be involved during, without any ability to trade it during those halts. So for me, it's just not of interest. I think though that you're clearly on the right side of the trend, which is, clearly lower.
Yeah.
I would say, put an anchor off of the low here today, and then from that handoff. So maybe if it comes down to this level, it starts to stabilize. You can get a little long side bounce if you're a scalper with a stop under there. Yeah. But you got to be watching it that carefully, or just be a believer and tuck it away if that's the way you think. But I don't think that's the way you're indicating for sure.
No. Show us the way, man. I'm just your Padawan there, Star Wars reference a little bit. Yeah, USO. Look, last time you were on here, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we were talking about too far, too fast. I mean, I thought that this war obviously had a little bit more legs underneath it. I think we're getting close to being right about that one, with the Strait of Hormuz still being a little bit of a problem. But because you're an anchor VWAP kind of guy, I wanted to ask you, what are we thinking here? Do we anchor something from the top? Do we anchor something from this breakout level to try to find some support and resistance here for USO? Because right now you're kind of caught between two levels that I look at, the 200 and the 50-period moving average. We've had quite a nice move back up. I mean, that low on USO, and we could talk about oil proper, but I don't mind just talking about USO here. 101 back up to 120, like that's 20%. I mean, I don't know, back in the day, like, we talk about, way back in the day, 20% was a great yearly move, Right. But nowadays it seems like we're getting it in a week and a half on some of these entities. So what are you thinking about here with USO? Is there any key levels that you're looking at for any traders?
Well, I think on USO, the momentum in the near term is higher. It held the rising 5-day moving average. It's above that. The key level that looks like it has potential for supply is up near 125. That's, as you indicated, Sean, the anchor off of the peak. It's also, well, that green one I wouldn't be too concerned about. That was for the for the equities markets. But it also has the blue 50-day moving average in there. So if it starts approaching that zone, I would say that's where you start really tightening up your stops to make sure you don't give back gains, and just traditional prior support tends to act as resistance. So 125-ish, I could see that happening.
All right, yeah, I actually agree with that. I mean, we talked about it being a little too oversold to the downside. And I think with more and more news hitting, I like that call there. Am I insane for wanting to get rid of some AMD? I mean, I've been ho-humming this for a very long time. I mean, we've seen Marvell pull back. We've seen ARM pull back. We've seen Nvidia, although Nvidia's on a nice run today, up 5%. We've seen Nvidia pull back. And a lot of the space, Intel's another name that's pulled back. But we don't need to go over macro ideas, but if you look at the AMD chart right here, like Brian, honestly, I'm not an analyst here. I don't know what's going on in the background here. I know CPU has been talked about as a strong sort of case for advanced micro devices, but I look at how much this name's gone on a run, and I look at a name like an Intel that we know the government's involved in, and this name has pulled back quite nicely from its top, almost making maybe potentially now a low. They're in and around $100, but we pulled back 30% in Intel. Yet I look at something that I equated similar to this sort of CPU craze with AMD, and that's still up here. So what do you think about AMD? Does it look like it's holding? I mean, it's holding the 50 period right here. I'm trying to sell it because I think this is the next victim if there is a downside play. But what are we thinking about with advanced micro devices?
Well, first, I agree with you that in Intel that it seems to be maybe finding some support. This is the anchor off of the year-to-date low for the market, and that's exactly where we so far have bottomed out in Intel. It didn't hold the 50-day moving average, and it didn't hold the 20. So, that one is looking like it's in a key zone and maybe has sold off enough. AMD, the thing is, though, it's the strongest name in here. It holds up well, and that's generally not the ones you want to sell. What would damage this structurally, I think, is if we were to break below this support in here and, close below the 50-day moving average for a couple days. But that 50-day moving average and the 20-day moving average are still ramping higher. We've just reclaimed the daily VWAP, the 5-day moving average on the shorter term time frame. It just seems to be more that the stock is correcting sideways through time rather than a price correction. But if we were to break that 500 level, then you might see a similar move down towards the April anchor near 410. So I would take it seriously under there. But for now, it's not hurting anything. So it's not helping either. But the path of least resistance and the benefit of the doubt goes to the path of least resistance is still higher in this name.
All right, yeah, so I think we're on the same page here. I was looking for a 500 break, and I thought, like, you know, if it breaks that, maybe I've missed the boat by 10% because 550 down to 500, depending on what you got in there. And I always think that when a trader is a little cautious of breakdowns or whatever, get out of a little bit, you know, nothing wrong if you have 100% of your position, trim a little bit. And I know that's something that you like to do as well. When certain things are met, you get out of a little bit, and then, you know, if the ultimate bottom hits, you can get out of the rest. All right, you want to play a game, Brian? I just made up a new one just right now.
Sure, love it.
Okay, it's what's your favorite chart? And that's it. That's what it's called. So it's what's your favorite chart? So I have one. I'm going to ask Neil for one, and I'm going to go for mine first. And because, you know, I'm the host right now. So this is the thing, right? So, all right. So Alex Trebek, yeah, so we're going to go right here. What's your favorite chart? And mine is CrowdStrike. I mean, this CRWD has absolutely mooned. I mean, we got a reverse split in this name. It was 800. It reversed back into 200 on a 4-to-1. And then today, when we all worried about what software is doing, CrowdStrike says, hey, I'll put 11% on top of that and break through the highs and going now. CrowdStrike breaking through $200. I don't want you to analyze or anything, Brian. I just want to go, this is my favorite chart. So everybody watching, this is CrowdStrike. It's my favorite chart right now. Do you have your favorite chart, or do you want me to pass it over to Neil? You got one right now?
That's a nice one. I think you're getting ready for a move in Datadog.
Okay.
Datadog reported earnings over here. It held that anchor. It's reclaimed the anchor from the high, and it's just consolidating in this range right here, which we can see on the 30-minute time frame. I'd love to see maybe just a little higher low here and then get going with a stop under here. Datadog's my favorite.
I like it.
Well, it's bank earnings. It's a spoiler alert. Look, I love Morgan Stanley, but just from a chart perspective, I'll go with the XLF because it's been gearing for this break for quite some time. And on the face of what we just saw with the earnings, fantastic. Yeah. When it does these consolidative tops, you can get some nice runs. And I love the fact that all of them just keep raising dividends, raising buybacks. So fundamentally looks good. But on the weekly chart, like, you're getting a nice final consolidation over the break and into the earnings as well. So, look, I like Morgan too, but we'll go with XLF. I actually had this already up. I was already gonna ask you, Brian, your thoughts, because bank earnings here, and we'll give you some time to talk some other names that you might like. But I was gonna ask your thoughts on the XLF in particular, given the fact that we've had 5 banks report this morning and some dip buyers coming in.
Yeah.
All-time highs, what's not to like? I mean, it got going here really a couple weeks ago, and now it's in this all-time high territory. So, and the earnings are supporting this move. So you raise your stops up underneath the higher lows, which I think now are last week's lows.
There we go. Love it. And we got to give you an opportunity because we've been.
We got Datadog.
You know, you did, but we pepper you with questions because we just want to get your take on the hottest charts. Let the viewers be able to see what we know they're going to be interested in from your perspective. So, what outside of Datadog? Because I know you just mentioned it. Is there anything else on your radar you like? Maybe going into earnings season, and maybe you found a bit of a runner somewhere. Just give us a little bit of a tidbit for what's going to be hot the next couple weeks.
Well, biotechs are pulling back nicely into their 20-day moving average. I'm not ready to buy them here yet. I'd like to see them kind of, well, I already sketched it out previously. I'd like to see them consolidate under this 5-day moving average a little bit. This was just a beautiful run above that 5. So a little bit more time to correct would be a nice thing to see. There is one name. I really don't know what they do. They're a biotech, but ORKA is really setting up nicely in here. It's also riding that 20-day moving average. It's got this little band of resistance in here. We've got some higher lows. So I don't own that, but I'm keeping a close eye on ORKA. Cisco looks like maybe it could be gearing up for another move. Maybe needs a couple more days in here as it's undercut that 5 for now. But after a couple days of consolidation in this zone, maybe by the end of the week, Cisco would be something. If it doesn't break down below, let's say 116, then I'll still keep an eye on this one for potential upside continuation.
I remember when you brought a Cisco, I think it was breaking that $75 mark, and it was just like an absolutely huge move there back to the upside. So that's great. Thank you so much, Brian. Everyone can find you over there at Alpha Trends on X and at Alpha Trends as well on StockTwits.
That's correct, yes.
All right, Brian Shannon, one of the best follows out there. Make sure you do go give him a like and a follow. Great posts, and thank you for joining us, hopefully every Tuesday. And yeah, let us know if you can't make it. I know the crowd is very excited to have you every single time. So it's Brian Shannon. Thank you very much for coming by.
Thanks, Brian.
See you next week, guys.
Ciao, ciao. All right, man.
The IWM currently up 0.31%. Let's take a look at a couple individual tickers. We have Fubo, F-U-B-O, Fubo TV down 2.3% at the moment. So just over the weekend, the company had named former Disney Plus executive Elisa Bowen as its new CEO. HYMC, we have Highcroft Mining Holding Corporation. That's up around 6% on the day. Analyst commentary here, nothing crazy, just a couple initiated at buy by B. Riley Securities for the weekend as well. ANRO, also Neuroscience, down 3%, has launched a $93.9 million stock offering at $26.48 per share in a registered direct offering.
Right, thank you there, Sia. I think one of the things that Brian was just talking about, like right at the end there, was some biopharmas really pulling back into some good levels. Like Merck, uptrend, pulling back into the 50-period moving average on a bit of a dip. And I'm just going to go through a couple that I like here. AbbVie would be another one. It's not Friday. I don't know why the charts have to be. Why you got to do this? It's because of the Lucid volume. I'm going to blame everything on the volume that we've had in Lucid and some of these crazy runners today. You got AbbVie after a big breakaway. Like remember the last couple of weeks? Like this stock regain the 50, break the 200, go ham, and now it's pulling back potentially into prior highs. So forget about the major moving averages. You can throw that out the window. This one pulling back, and even 235 is. I'm going to like some reloads. If you're wondering what's going on with Lucid, everyone's favorite, no one's favorite anything. Anybody that shorted the move down or that bought the bottom, it's your favorite stock today. I don't know if it's anything beyond that. They make some nice looking cars. There's no question about it. It is holding. It broke the 450 after the long halt. Couldn't get to $5, so I don't think it got that press as far as I would like. At this point, we'll take what we can get on the reload there in Rivian. Again, sympathy play. The thing with Rivian is it can go back all the way because they're not the ones that had the bad news. I mean, look, it doesn't mean, let's be real. Like, let's say for a split second here that this Lucid story has some teeth to it and Lucid does file Chapter 11. The Rivian will legitimately go down on it. But in the midst of this, there's a topic I'm going to try to get out here. We can get. It was take a couple of shots at the low, have our stops, get it to VWAP, then it consolidated during the halts when we kept getting those tap values higher. That's sort of the key. So another scalp out in Rivian. And for those that are asking, why is that LC? Is it LC? What's the 2x leverage? I don't remember what it is. LCDL. There it is.
DL, yeah.
So now this one's halted and the primary is not open. Or is open, sorry. So obviously, what is going on with the halt parameters between the 2x levered and the actual underlying aren't making a ton of sense. I'm not here to make up the rules, but I can tell you this is the second time you've had one halted and the other open. Does make it a little bit tricky if you are playing in this. I suppose you could be doing some hedging, but then that gets a little bit complicated. So yeah, for what it's worth, it doesn't make a ton of logical sense to me either. Why wouldn't the policy just be to halt these when the underline is closed and then open it up together? But whatever. That's just logical in my brain.
Yeah, I don't know. People were asking about that, and we were saying maybe it was broken. I don't know there. But right here, what's not broken is $2 right there. It's just for you, Ozan. There it is. So it's $2 now in the money on Microsoft. And again, a name that we had put on for you, just as we start the show. We talked about you could have reloaded it, I guess, at 387.20, but downside there for Microsoft. And we talked a little bit about why. Thought the market had a chance to break. That is what happened. The market broke, and we picked on a name that was weak to begin with, and that was Microsoft. And I feel like there would be, obviously better names to work with. but not including Apple. I thought maybe Apple was going downside. Okay, so nothing going on there. Nvidia almost out, 211.50. If that breaks, we're out of Nvidia for 750. We'll see what winds up happening there. And then SpaceX, honestly, like, what are you even doing? Like, maybe just get another piece. Like, am I going to scalp this out for 13 cents? Like, I mean, I don't really, this range is 20 cents on SpaceX. So I'm hoping.
20 cents?
Yeah.
How long?
An hour. I mean, this is from 2:30. Well, I guess we got filled there at 2:30 at 97. Our best fill there is 61s. So that's 30 cents right now for the last 45 minutes on SPCX. The big shiny toy today, though, is wow. Damn it, man. Like, we went short so much today on SK Hynix that I was going to do it again at 190 and didn't, and that's the mistake. But there's the pullback into the 200 period moving average. Could be a decent opportunity for a long right now at SK Hynix. I'm going to cheer for the short to come in here today. So I'm going to wait and not take this long, but this is looking like a decent long, especially if you're short SK Hynix, maybe look to cover somewhere around here. But that's your 25 period. So we've rejected trying to get going through there. Okay, so Nvidia does come off fine. Good for me on that one. We would have liked to get out at 1250, but as Brian said, sometimes you got to wait for something to break down in order for you to execute against it. So that's what we do there, break down there. Off the posted, a number one trade today was a 205 long on Nvidia. We just scalped it out like crazy because at the beginning of the day, there was some up and down. I mean, Nvidia got to 208 and then just cranked down into the downside. So very risky trade there, similar to what Palantir did, but obviously Nvidia now pulling back. And look, we just got stopped out for waste 20 cents on that one on the trail out, as Neil said. So Palantir maybe going that way as well. Downside now, right? We'll see if we can break. I think a break of 134, we could take that short, underneath we're not underneath VWAP, underneath the 25 period, underneath the 50 period moving average. It's Palantir making moves lower right now. So we'll have to watch out for PLTR potentially breaking through 134.30. That would be that look. But then I'm going to wait for 134 as a potential breakdown now for Palantir. So, we're $2 in there. Okay, we're finally 23 cents in on SpaceX. I have a buy, 138.20. That may not fill. I'll put a bid right there. Hit those 43s. We'll get another piece out here on SpaceX and see if we can get a little lower now. 138.21. I'm gonna put that to 138.35 right now. See if we can get out of. There we go. Well, we get it immediately. So now finally SpaceX trying to break down. So this hold that we've had over here for a while paid off a little bit. Our best fill is 35s there. We'll see if we can get a little bit lower. But yeah, so far so good. Now we'll go from there.
It's so far so good. And with the market actually coming back up, interestingly enough, weird. While we were talking to Brian, we did get that bottom fill, the 52.8 half on SLV, but it is starting to pop back higher. So we'll reload. Gonna wait for it to get into our level. I'm not gonna move the stop. Still hang on 20 points. And I want it to get 20%. Sorry, still gonna get back in if we get up to our entry, the 53.15. So like right in here, it's gonna look for a top. But for now, we're jumping out, and then we're gonna get back in just a little bit of a press higher. Or if I see like a topping tail at VWAP. So again, don't want to turn a winning trade into a loser, but I want to wait for a press into this top. I keep hitting the key like my icon, like the circle that highlights the spot that I'm pointing at, but whatever, I have to reset that up. Either we get in back at the 53.2 or we wait for that volume weighted average price, because I'm still thinking reload short opportunities out there wherever I can. Part of me, I don't know, I just saw something wild, because I'm pretty sure I saw Farm Trader in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, Farm Trader, or maybe you were joking around when you said you put every dollar that you have into Lucid long.
That'd be a joke.
Yeah, I assumed it was. Because like my first thought was,
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know if you're joking around. I couldn't tell if you were serious. Because my first thought was the whole like where there's smoke, there's fire. Like if it tries to break $5 to look for like a false break, like something like this. Like you see what happened after the halt up, and it did this kind of false break of 480 and then right back in. I want to find that kind of a candle above $5 if it can get there. So first things first, it probably needs to work in there, because I don't know. My first thought is not to look for the long in Lucid. I preferred playing that over in Rivian, who did not have the rumor of going private or bankruptcy, and I'd rather look for some kind of a short here if I can in Lucid. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's what the eyeballs run. That potential reload in SLV. I think it made sense when the momentum started going up to make sure that we got out in our trail. But we'll wait for VWAP. We'll wait for some kind of a turn, and let me know what else you guys might be watching here, because those are the things that are on my watch list. Salvador, thanks for this. SKNY.
Yeah, it is right
It's
there.
hilarious. Like it's like, why can't I just say SK Hynix?
It's because it's not NY.
Oh, it's
that's
not.
why.
Wait a
It's
minute.
HY. But you're welcome there, Salvador. I mean, we
SK
just talked about it. So you actually got that.
What is
And I was,
SKNY?
I don't know. I was like, if you like the long right there, that was a great level. They're pulling right back into the 200 period on a very strong stock today. So, I fought the law, and the law won on the short there today. And, just tried to, again, getting blown out of the short isn't accurate. I mean, we were taking profits on the way. Just all the shorts eventually got stopped out. And that long was a beauty right there. So you're welcome, Salvador. And I'm glad that at least you took that trade. That was a good one there off of that low. So good movement. And, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, you're taking $2 right quick. And if you're going to take my advice on the long, I don't know if you want to take it on the out, but you're right at the 50 period moving average, not a horrible out, that's for sure. All right, we're ready to go to Sia right here with SectorWatch. Let's go find out what sectors are moving around today.
The SPY is currently up very close to 0.4% at the moment. We're going to take a look at the sectors. Let's dive right in. In electric tech, you have Nvidia still holding the strong momentum from earlier in the day. It's up over 4%. Apple trading a bit flat at the moment, but it's still tilting a bit towards the red. It looks like it has made a little bit of a comeback, but it's still down 0.60% at the moment. AVGO, MU, AMD, INTC, all in the green, with KLAC and Dell as well. MU is up 4.5%, Intel up 5%. Cisco continuing to slide a bit further into its losses, down 2% at the moment. You have GE and RTX followed by ANET flat on the day. Continued to be flat. Tech services, you have Google up very close to 2%. You have Meta trading flat, and Microsoft also down 1.3% at the moment. Oracle is down close to 2%. Palantir doing not too bad here, up 3.4%. Netflix flat at the moment as well, and PANW up 6.4%. Followed by CRWD having a very good day, up 11.6%, but IBM continuing to slide down 24% on the day. Not a good look over there. Finance, you have BRKB down 0.64%, but JPM up 2%, MS up to very close to 3%, and GS is up 8.14% now. WFC and Citi continuing to slide a bit there. WFC is down 3%, and Citi is down 4.8%, very close to 5%. So Visa and MasterCard flat on the day. The retail trade, Amazon is also flat, but Walmart and Costco are now a little bit tilted towards the red. Walmart's down 1%, and Costco inching closer to 8% into the red as well. TJX is also down 0.64% on the day. Home Depot, however, still flat at the moment. Producer manufacturing, you have AMAT, LRCX, still holding a little bit of bullish momentum from earlier in the day. AMAT is up 3.8%, with LRCX up very close and try a 5%. GEV also up 2.17%. However, CAT still trading flat. Consumer non-durables, you have KO, PG, as well as PM and PEP, all in the red over here. KO is down over 1% as well as PG, very close to 1.5%. Health tech, you have Lilly and J&J still pretty bearish on the day. Lilly is down 2.3% and J&J down close to 2%, followed by ABBV and MRK, very close. MRK is close to 3% as well, but ISRG here seems like the biggest name that's lagging, followed by BIIB down 6.65% and 7.4% respectively. You have utilities, process industries, transportation, a bit of a mixed sentiment throughout these sectors, but utilities, you have NEE, that's NEE, up 1.3% on the day. In transport, you have Uber sliding closer into the red, 3% at the moment. In industrial sectors, I would say you have PWR and WMB. PWR is up 1.6%. WMB up 2%, and the rest of the sector looking a bit of a mixed sentiment between red, flat, and green. UNH in health services down close to 1%, and HCA sliding closer to 7% on the day, whereas non-energy, you have a bit of a green sector here looking pretty decent, but SCLD continuing to slide a bit towards 1%. And lastly, we have energy minerals, XOM, CVX trading flat on the day, but you have MPC up very close to 1.7%, PSX up 1.3%.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Sia,
Sia.
for all of that. All right, well, I mean, we're in this right now, so we'll go new position. I don't know. I mean, let's just see. It's 480 here. I mean, this is the. That was a little delayed
That was
there.
Joe.
Oh, that was. Oh, Joe has that button now. Oh God. Okay.
He was giggling over there.
Yeah,
you
I
could
mean,
tell.
pretty soon I'm going to take his Stone Cold button. So right into here. If we watch out now, you know that the high is right into here. I'm going to stop out if this breaks 485. I mean, we're just going to try the short. You know, a couple units, only trying to give it a few pennies. We'll see if there's a retracement back down. There's really nothing going on. I'd hope that this 480 would have spiked again there. So we take it on the way up. It runs right into us. And I'm only going to give it a little bit of time here because like not only I'm not even really waiting for 63s. I have a piece out for 10% for 5 cents because that's where the stop is. And then another 10% for 10 cents. And then, you know, if we do fall back in, then woo-ha, we've got you all in check. But this is a nice move downside right now on SpaceX. It's not even that big, but we'll take it again at this level. Hopefully, SpaceX can, get to the downside right now, which would be kind of nice. So that's what we're hoping for with SPCX, and here it comes in. I just got, what did I get there? No, I didn't get any fills there, did I? I got a Lucid fill. Okay, so Lucid there, we did get that fill at 75, so that was good. So nice little 75 fill there on Lucid, and then it came right back up. But yeah, we're looking at SpaceX short, Lucid short, and Microsoft. Oh, we got out. So, on the way down here, I do have a stop to get out of the rest of it. I have 10% left only of Microsoft. So on the way down, we talked about that with Brian. I thought we did a pretty good job holding on to some of this into some of these lows. So we'll see if Microsoft wants to work. Okay, what's going now? All right, another fill here coming for us. I'm going to take another bid at 73 there on Lucid. Saw the net sort of flash down there. We might have got down as low as 71s there. I'm bidding 70s. Let's take a 73 fill. There it is. Okay, good. And then we'll take a 70, and then we'll see if we can break below 60 and then get something around this 55 or so marker there. Let's put a bid. Hey, man, you never know. Sometimes this thing will crack in. So we'll put a 55 bid and see if we get something down there on LCID. But yeah, so far so good. And it was a new position, so we hit that key. And just getting out of our SpaceX, we talked about Microsoft, and now new position for me on Lucid. So let's go. Very, very cheap, almost basically free to borrow here at Real Trading. So that's what we'll do. We'll continue to watch out for LCID. Hopefully we get that 70 fill, and then we'll be down to about 70% left. So just a couple 10% out so far, one at 75, one at 73. We'll wait for 70s and see if we can get a little lower there on LCID. And I don't know if Rivian, we talked about that one, it could probably make its way back up. And yeah, as if that story didn't even happen again, Rivian up 80 cents from the lows. So that would have been a great trade to focus on there with RIVN. All right, if U.S. believes there's pressure requesting negotiations through sanctions, they are mistaken. Yeah, so, the art of the deal continues to be something that we need to work on here because this closing of the strait, the opening of the strait, demanding control of it, obviously doesn't seem to be working out there as Iran deputy minister claiming they are mistaken there. I assume he's referring to the United States. So.
Yeah, USO not moving. It's still at that 120 level. So remember this morning it was like the 120 or bust. So congratulations, you got your level. Now we're not doing anything with it over there on USO. If it spikes, we'll let you know. On the off chance that it opens up, I paid for locates on LCDL only because it seems to me that it broke a couple of times and might have moved too far based on like the Lucid move. So if that kind of a crazy disconnect were to happen, I just want to have it available. And like Lucid, the locates are basically free. And I don't even know if it's going to open up.
No.
It might not open up because they're like, there's something wrong here. Lucid's going crazy and this is breaking, so we're not going to open it again. But on the off chance that it does, I want to be ready. I'm using Lucid as the futures. Like I'll defend the out on Rivian because Lucid made a high and pulled back. So it made some sense. But now that you're cresting at that same top, and now you're pulling all the way back to a full recovery on Rivian. Remember, Rivian had made a top and was kind of trending back in off of this 17.5 level. So if no break of 5, then I like a reversion in here. And then I ended up jumping back in, same price. Silver just didn't go, SLV just didn't go any further. So it kind of made that trail. It put in a topping tail you can't see because of my execution. So it does this break and then immediately starts rejecting back underneath. So I just hop right back in at the same price like nothing happened, and we'll look for the play in a little bit. Right now I'm going to be looking at Rivian, potentially that LCDL. We'll see. If it doesn't open up, there's nothing to it. But if I see it disconnect, or what I perceive to be a disconnection, and it opens, if it does open and I see a disconnection, I want to take a shot, and I want to have the ability to go in either way. And shout out to everyone in the chat for bringing it up. I'm telling you, it's one of those, if you had seen it and realized how far it had fallen, the fact that it was under 10 cents was ludicrous on LCDL. I keep saying it wrong, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's a
one
great
nothing Spain, by the way.
What?
Apparently, yeah, 1-0 Spain. So over France. All right, so we'll wait. Yeah, good one there.
Okay.
We hope for Spain to win.
Get a little upset action. That would
change of the guard there.
be good for England.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, as I said, they're all the top 4 teams. Like I really feel like any team could beat any team, obviously at this point.
If you're England,
I
but
don't think
England specifically will want
science.
France out. That's a tough.
Yeah, I
game.
mean, I think you definitely want the defending champs. Argentina, they got to get through them first, which should be a great game. So, all right, that's tomorrow. Yep.
Spain just scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that's what we were talking about there. So yeah, shout out to Spain there. Shout out. We like that Spain scoring. Thank you, Sia, for that update. Yeah, so we got another out there on Lucid again, right there. So 76. So a couple of 75s, 73s, a 75, a 76, and a 73. Basically, doesn't look like it wants to go. We're still going to hold on to it. If it breaks, and we'll figure it out after that. So that's what's going on there. And then right back into SpaceX. Here's a move finally for SpaceX. I'm bidding nothing now, so I got to put a bid out here. Take another fill. Just punch them out at 25s there. Now we'll wait to see if the fall is real on SPCX. And, just trying to do our best to hold this, right? I mean, we had seen some resistance up there. That's why we're shorting it. So that's what we're doing right there. We'll take another fill and just wait to see if we can collapse all over itself. Microsoft, again, the outs 10 pennies away. If we break through 386, we'll get out there of Microsoft. We'll get out of 2/3 of what we have left, but very small piece of the pie there on MSFT. Anything halting, RDAC is nothing there. We did
outside.
Obviously Lucid. All right, VEE, maybe this one. Yeah, nothing going on right now. Remember the after hours on Twin V could do something like this, what we saw yesterday where, we closed right here. We actually closed yesterday here at basically $26, $27, and then rip it to 40 and change, and I stopped the chart. So be careful with VEE here. Could be one of those names that wants to go higher after the market closes. I don't know if there's enough juice around here to halt anything, especially with us being above VWAP and just trying to hold out on VEE. The other one was NXTC.
That sounds right.
NCTX. I thought it was NXTC.
Here, I'll look at it. I know because it's on the watch list. You had it right. It's NXTC.
Yeah, okay, there's NextCure. So another name that was kind of halting around back and forth a bit here today. We can definitely have a look at this one. Early move, early momentum up to $11 and $12. Does break that $10 mark right into there. I know Luis was looking at that $10 mark, and it looks like it basically holds it. And now you're into 6. So that's probably a good trade over there for everybody over in Barbados, in Barcelona. But right now they must be watching the game. It's a few hours.
Nice.
Yeah, so right now it's a few hours ahead of, I think it's 6 or 7 hours in Spain now. So yeah, it's good to be good timing for them, 9, 10 at night over there enjoying this game. And I'm glad that it wasn't like an 8 p.m. local time, because that would have been, again, like, into some bad timing there for those of you.
Like when England had to play at 2 a.m.?
Exactly, when England had to play at 2 a.m. And that stuff happens. I mean, happened to Canada last time when we were in Qatar, of course. The whole western side of the world had to suffer through that.
It was because the weather, like, it was supposed to be 1, and then it's open at 2.
Yeah, we'll...
people on the streets at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I think tomorrow will be okay because, and by the way, I think it's super warm now in England. You just missed it by a week. All right, so 138 and change now. Downside coming for SpaceX. Let's see if that winds up hitting. I hope it does break the low of the day. That's what we're waiting for, 137.80. If that happens, great. We do have momentarily the imbalances coming, so,
Yeah, I didn't check the early
Yeah, a little bit of a work out on that one. We have to see if SpaceX has that sell imbalance. SK Hynix, the only red name for
almost.
me. Yeah, today there. Just goes to 190 again, a potentially good short area there for SKHY, SK Hynix.
Of course, oddly enough, I pull up the amounts locator for the early looks, and it's not SpaceX. Well, it can't be because obviously SpaceX trades on the Nasdaq, but SPCE with, for whatever. I always say with reasons unknown, like why would it have a buy and balance? But it does. Early look, 3.4 million buy and balance. Ignore NU every single time. This seems to have an imbalance, doesn't do anything. EWY with a buy and balance of 1 million. That could be worth a look. GDX, you don't usually see that. One of the Amex names, but only 700,000. I suppose Virgin Galactic at 3.4 million buy and balance could be interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this spike here was probably when that early look 3 million buy and balance happened. And then it spiked higher. My first thought is, can we short it? And then when it comes out smaller, we can't have to pay for locates. And then when it comes out smaller than 3.4 million, if it's still at the highs, then fade it. Because it's SpaceX, and why not? But you're gonna have to pay for locates to be able to do that. So like I said, I'm back into SLV. It's just waiting for the trend break here. Actually breaking trend right now is going to be Rivian. So Rivian's starting to break the trend back in. Oh, pick me up, pick me up. Don't go too far. You can pick me up along the way before you get to VWAP. So trend all the way back to where it was when the Lucid story hit. I don't want to say news, story hit. And we're going to look for a reversion back into VWAP on this. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
The whole Lucid thing was wild, but we're not talking about Lucid. We're talking about USO. USO right now trying to potentially break out of this consolidative range as US CENTCOM or Central Command says that they have been launching more strikes against Iran. So actually they are in the process of launching more strikes against Iran. Apparently 3 consecutive explosions were reported in Bandar Abbas, according to the IRNA. In Iran. So we're getting, again, more reports from both the U.S. and Iran that the U.S. is striking Iran. And keep in mind, it's very rare to see that these countries agree on anything. They could both agree the U.S. is striking right now. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's
thanks, Adara. And I turned, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just telling Sean a story, my bad.
Yeah, about baseball. We right into here. Damn it. So it tanked, and I meant to put out just partial shares, and I punched out of the whole damn thing.
Uh-oh.
So not a great idea, but still okay, because we got back into the short. So there we go. My price is going to be not the same price that you guys have seen. We're supposed to be short right here at 139, which would be about $1.30, but instead we're just short where we are. So if you're wondering about that pricing and what was up with that, that's why. So unfortunately, I did tap out a little bit too early there. Too many shares by accident. I got out of the whole kit and caboodle. You know, when you type in like, let's just say you have 50 shares and you're meant to get out of 5 or 10 or 15 or whatever, 100 shares, and you get out of 10 or whatever. So that was a keystroke error. Made it once again there on a move down. And because I realized, oh my God, it was at the low of the day and I didn't have a bid. So I panicked over there. You should always slow your roll, young fellow. And that's can be talking to me. I'm not young. But there it is right here. Nice move in one more time. So we do get that 70 fill. Let me give it to you exactly. Yeah, 70 fill there on Lucid. So that was all part of it, man. Like they all started to spike at the same time. And, I just saw the green, the sort of the profit rain in there, and I panicked and got out of that trade. So yeah, man, Lucid. Okay, let's go, Lucid. Yes, sir. We've got a decent opportunity. Yes, okay. So here comes a good trade. I'm going to put another bid here at 68. We'll put another bid at 65. Hopefully we do get some downside pressure there on to LCID into the close. But hey, man, Microsoft, we've been playing on that short. Let's get another bid here on MSFT if we can. Oh, well, if we can, we just got to put a bid to get it. So there it is, man. We are now out on MSFT with a little bit of an order going there. We'll see what that trade winds up happening, but a good trade there. And all the shorts are starting to print. Let's go, man. Now we're starting. Are we having fun yet? Lucid, nice move there as well. We'll put another bid for another 10% on Lucid, another out there on Microsoft. SpaceX trying to do some damage there as well. But Lucid right now, the one that we have the most shares on. SpaceX, look, we'll celebrate it, but it's really because of where we were. I'm still going to have that same out, but now it's going to not be all the way up here. We don't need it to retrace all the way back for us. It's just going to be the 25-period moving average. So a break right there of 138.30. Let's do that on SpaceX. It's been one of the best stocks for me since it's IPO'd, and we're just going to keep on it right now. So there we go. The stop is now in. Hopefully we get a little bit of a downside push. Waiting for that Lucid magic to hit right now.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I'm looking for the shorts to come right back in, drop right back into the well with, Rivian's a Lucid-esque play because it's going to be sympathy and we jump back into SLV. I just paid for my locates on Virgin Galactic, because buy imbalance into down market, into bad stock, to me equals a bit of a fade. It's already starting to come off the highs. What I might do, we have 15 minutes to go. I'm probably going to pop on the offer in front of the high of the day just to try to get picked up, and I'm anticipating a curl. But if it breaks a fresh high, I would just jump out. I kind of want to risk like 1 cent on this. And I'd rather be filled after 340 into 350 as opposed to getting that fill too early. But I think you can get a reversion back to where this sucker was from before. Meant to say this when Sia was talking about IBM. It is worth mentioning on IBM, it was holding the 220 level. This whole day started with some crazy action on IBM, and that kind of stole the show this morning. It's just lost that key 220 level again and is now headed lower. So what seemed like the good spot for IBM, and go out to a higher time frame chart. I mean, the daily chart will be good enough, but trust me, if you pull out like a monthly chart, it's an even bigger level at 220. It's losing that bit, as we speak. So IBM looks like it is going to have its worst day. It was barely, barely better than that Black Monday, unfortunately. So yeah, IBM taking it on the chin. I own the stock, so it's not every day you wake up and something in your portfolio that you've had a very long time is down this much. It kind of makes you think, oh, wish I'd sold some at the all-time high.
Well, the worst is
woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I know you and I just recently bought some of this too. Yeah. So I mean, I just really just bought it right at this level, and
this has been a good level.
Didn't do anything all the way upside there, and bounces off the 50 there, nicely cooking, and then today you get the canary in the coal mine there with IBM, and not moving the way that we would hope to in order to gain profits on those longs. Not great, but profits are coming in anyways on this side of things, and that is of course referencing the play on Lucid. I mean, that was a good take, right? I mean, we got short at 80 there, right off the 200 period moving average. Similarly to the sort of the SK Hynix trade there off the 200 period. So congratulations, Salvador, and we talked about that. And, but at least I take my own advice this time and grab it right there. We could have grabbed it again, but we didn't want to. Don't need it, but downside play there. We just got out at 68. So that's, so far so good here on the play, and that is, of course, LCID. So let's see how far that one can get going. And then here we go again. Awesome. SpaceX. So the short, and more. So nice downside move there happening for SPCX. So far so good, man. Everything seems to be coming up pretty good here into the close. Oh, there's Microsoft, by the way. So, we get filled there. It does take 386. We get a little piece out. Then we get the rest out there. Unfortunately, that 386 was a good call because once it broke, it went to 386.40. So we get out about 2/3 of what we had left, we said, and the other piece out right there at 80s as it falls right back into our lap. So that is going to be ringing the registers for a decent trade. And we still got half on. So it's a half on trade. Yes! Bang! Good trade here to the downside right now for Lucid. As there we go, we get the 62 fill, and it just breaks below 60s there for Lucid. So, hey man, we can get another fill maybe now at 60 if that there does. That comes through now. 58's printing lower. I'm still at 56s here on LCID, and so, short 80s, right? Give us 30 cents. Give us 30 cents. Give us 25 cents on a $4.50 name. Not too bad here for our trade on Lucid. Let's see if we can make a little bit more money, though, and come back from this. We'll go to Sia now. We'll come back and we'll see what's going on with Lucid.
Pound risen against the dollar. Today's investors have taken some profits after the U.S. dollar's recent climb to more than one-year highs. It's ahead of the key U.S. inflation data that came in, and the pound also, I would say, been holding steady against the euro as well. Currently, I would say holding strong. It was holding steady against the euro earlier in the day, still continuing to hold that strong momentum over there. Let's take a look at what the dollar is doing right now. Trading around the 100.9 mark region, sitting near that region, falling over 0.3%, however, today, following a softer than expected June consumer inflation report. Also, on the other hand, the Canadian dollar trading around 0.71 USD.
Keep an eye here, guys, on AAPL. As we know, we talked about this a lot yesterday, but on Friday after the bell, Apple filed a lawsuit against OpenAI and also a couple different entities that were either former employees of Apple or companies run by former employees of Apple. Regardless, OpenAI responding to this trade secret related lawsuit, saying they take the allegations seriously, but they are, quote, not aware of any evidence that this complaint has merit. They also, OpenAI also said here that they believe in competition and, quote, people working where they want. Now, the reason they'd specify that, just going to give some context, is because, as I mentioned yesterday, and because I read through the suit, a lot of the allegations that Apple is making are that employees that used to work at Apple then went on to work at OpenAI, and these employees, so my understanding was not the whole company, but just these employees were telling Apple employees, hey, when you come to interviews, bring stuff from Apple. One other employee was accused of stealing a laptop from Apple, so it does seem like it was specific employees and less the entire company that Apple's having issues with. Regardless, that's OpenAI's response to this Apple lawsuit. I thought it was kind of interesting here. Back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It just turns in. We saw this back and forth with Elon and Sam Altman. It just feels like there's always I don't know. There's always something with this, with OpenAI. And the real something with OpenAI is the fact that when was the last time we heard anything about them? They're confident filing for the IPO, filing confidently, and now we might not get it for next year. Still haven't heard much of anything out of them. Ooh, that reminds me. I meant to do this. We always try to talk about, IPOs have been fantastic. But one of the things that we've been doing is maybe, I don't want to say ignoring, but any of the IPOs that aren't like the super hype ones, we'll just give it a little bit less oomph. All that being said, if something comes out and it's over 1 billion, then it's worth a look. And there is one, C-Square this week. It is coming out on Thursday. That's right, Thursday, because today's Tuesday. Yeah, so on Thursday, 1.5 billion is the offer amount. They're doing 50 million shares. So that's CSQR. That's going to be on the radar 100%. For me, I think I'm at the point now where if it's over $1 billion, it's tradable. It doesn't mean you automatically take the opening print, but I'm definitely going to be looking for some trades on it just because it has enough size, and then you can try to play some momentum. So Rivian on that, Lucid popped down. I just want to see it get to VWAP. If it extends through, fine. I've already taken one out. SLV came in. Hit first support, kind of closed this gap into the prior low, but it's coming right back up. So very tight stop at the 15. And then as I mentioned, Virgin Galactic with that weird buy imbalance. I shouldn't say weird buy imbalance. It is a buy imbalance of 3.4 million shares. I'm just looking at the last few times it was on the locator. It completely paired off and did not come out as 3 million. So we grabbed the short. I didn't quite get the 64 I wanted, but we were able to get some 63s and some 63 halves, looking to see if we can't get filled right back into where it came from. Just a pure reversion type play. And every time I see something 2 or 3 times on the imbalance locator that goes the other way at 350, I want to start putting this one into the toolbox. And the last few times I've seen SpaceX, it's ended up being a nothing burger. When it's a buy or a sell imbalance, it tends to just kind of go the other direction. And I want to be able to use that to our advantage here. Because there's some trades out there that you can play. We don't have to take it at 350. So just in this one a little bit early.
Good look on that one. And what a good look right here. SpaceX getting into its all-time lows again right there. So now we're $1. Well, we're, whatever, man. I mean, we would be $2 in the money, but I'm actually glad that we had punched out there because we're able just to basically just reload it and watch this fall to the end to the bottom and have actually a little bit more shares than we would have otherwise. So that's going to be looking like a decent opportunity here to get out. So SpaceX right now downside through 137. And when we talk about what its all-time low is, I think we're here right now, right? I mean, we had 136.80 yesterday. We had this fill in our account yesterday. So it looks like we're having it again here today. So yeah, man, we whisper on SpaceX because it's been a great trade. And, I don't want to jinx it. We haven't done great on SK Hynix today. We have a negative name in our account, and that's going to be SKHY. SKHY, yeah. Bouncing off 90 again. So, for tomorrow's trade today, we will definitely be looking over here at SKHY at 190, whether or not we get through that or not after hours. I mean, I would assume that we are, AM. We will get through it after hours. So I shouldn't say if. When there's a little bit less volume, I could see SK Hynix busting through that. DRAM also up 6% today. So the whole space seems to be trying to catch a few bids, including Micron and whatnot. You know, not to ignore anything that happens with Iran, but okay.
But USO is just not reacting.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing happening right now. Like, I'd much rather obviously be interested in stories like, you know, like the Apple story that Adair brought to us, or something maybe that's going on with Lucid right there. And, you know, we just put this trade on, and again, pretty much a perfect setup for me into the 200 period, and then just making these moves lower. And although it seems like we've scalped it out, which we have, we only have now a little bit less than actually a third left on this position right now, and happy with what's been going on. Our best outs was 58s. So short 80 right there. Good coverage, good to the downside here. Most of these fills right here are 70s, and then we have a 58. Sorry, it looks like our best fill is 60s. We don't have the 58, I thought we did. And then a couple more at 63. So yeah, so far so good here as we just sort of wait and count up the little pennies that we've made here on LCID. A quick check, plug your ears if you don't know the score, because I'm gonna give it to you right now. It's only 1-0.
Yeah.
And it's in the 43rd minute. So
I saw someone in the chat said they got a penalty shot.
Who did?
What the goal. So that's what the goal was.
Oh, the goal was a PK.
Is that right? Was the goal a penalty? Just let me know in the chat.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know in the chat. Was it a penalty shot?
Oh, here, I can actually.
And was it a good decision? Was it a good decision?
I'll check.
We'll see. Yeah, you can double check it. I just feel like
right now the 20.
Every single time there's any kind of a
show
penalty, there's just so much controversy and like complaining about the calls, which I suppose is a big deal. One of my beefs about football is like they don't have in-between fouls. It's like red card, you're automatically sent off. Hockey gets that so right, where there can be different degrees of serious penalties, and football does it too.
Well, they do it in soccer.
Yeah, but
the yellow card.
Yeah, but to me, there should be some form of a red that doesn't result in a team playing down a man for the entirety of the match. It's so extreme. It's such a ridiculous extreme to me. Like, there can't be a red where you're down for 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
At least they can use VAR and stuff, right?
At least they have that.
I mean, you get kicked out. I mean, we've seen guys get kicked out of football games. I mean, you get a penalty, you get kicked out. You know, if it's dramatic enough, and that's the thing about soccer.
But they have them where you're not too as well. Like you can.
Most red cards are red cards. You know, I mean, it's just.
The Canada game was a good example of it.
It just happens where
he didn't deserve to get kicked out of the game.
Oh, there's gonna be lots. I mean, they also had Trump was involved in that one where they brought back something battle gun. I can't remember his name. It's a pretty good name though for a.
Look, I can't say his name either, so I'm not even.
Balogun.
Balogun. Is that really Balogun?
Yeah. Anyways, IBM here going for its worst day ever. We only have 15 minutes left now, and yeah, there it goes, man. Down 24%, 25%. It did have its day in the sun a little bit there, bouncing off the 200 and back up to 221 right there. But then, you know, it does not hold VWAP, and we get to the downside there again. So we'll have to wait to see if we do break a little lower through 217. But yeah, I don't remember what you said, but I think it was around this 25% was its lowest day ever.
No, it was 23. So this is the worst day ever. You know what? We like a stock at decision time. I almost bought some more, but then I said to myself, if I didn't take anything out of the most recent buy at the highs, what am I doing? It's not a reload then. That's one of the reasons to sometimes take profit at highs, is so that you can reward yourself and then get back in. Because now it's like, well, if you didn't do anything on these bounces, then what's your logic for getting in on day one when it dumps? So I backed off. I still like the stock, but I'll wait till at least Friday, if not next week. That's the way I want to play it.
What's SpaceX's all-time?
Wait till Friday or till next week. It didn't break. I can tell you what it's not.
It's 136.78.
Because I didn't get my fill. So I knew it didn't break 136 because I didn't.
Oh yeah, definitely didn't break one.
Yeah, because I have a stink bid on my personal account and I didn't get it filled for the long.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to go long. I mean, I don't have a bid at 135, but I think I'll probably put one there.
It's just I'm getting another. I'm in 7% of what I want. I'm getting another 12. I'll be at 20% of what I want for a position in long term in SpaceX. Just need to be able to get the fill on the CDR. Probably tomorrow. I'm not moving it. It's good for like 2.5 months. So I'm getting that fill. It's just a matter of when, and then I'm not doing anything until after earnings. Because I want to see a report.
Good look. Yeah. I think that's looking at earnings and trying to wait for key areas to bid and offer at, and price is not just according with time as well, right? I mean, that first report is August 6th, I believe.
Yeah, it's coming
up. Okay, so right here, man, I am bidding 136.81s, a couple pennies ahead of its all-time low. And yeah, man, we have it. I immediately wanted to short SpaceX into the afternoon. I mean, we've been trading it quite well and just watching out for some of these plays. And, SpaceX has faded. I mean, I feel like in the afternoons, we've gotten some good fades. I mean, it doesn't happen every afternoon, but it's happening today. So I like that one. And then, you never know where your bread's going to be buttered. And, Microsoft could have been a good one, that was a good trade for us today. That's for sure. SK Hynix, not a great trade. It's my red one there. SpaceX. And then, this is what I want to talk about, Lucid. I'll put another bid here. I don't know how far we're going to go. We are now moments away. There we go. We get a 62 as soon as we put it in. I'm at 56s, hoping that breaks, but we are now a minute away from the imbalances. And
I didn't realize we're this close.
Yeah, we're slowly getting out of everything. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening here on those imbalances, and hopefully we're able to create some action. But there it is, man. We get that SpaceX all-time low. So hit the sirens right now. Now, we're not going to go to crypto yet, my guy. We're going to wait here, and we're just going to wait until we get the imbalances. So we should probably, let's change on our scanner. Maybe we could put crypto to 345. There, we always get a lot of people asking us about these imbalances, or we could just go right after the imbalances. But right now, we are now 30 seconds away. We'll be able to find out what's going on now. SpaceX now just touched all-time low. The low of the day, there it is. Brand new all-time low for SpaceX right now. Everybody that was locked into those 135s, I mean, if you haven't sold yet, then the brokers got you because there was no legalities behind selling that up there. And now you've held all the way over. Wait until that lockup, man. You think that people are selling now, they're going to dump this thing on lockup. I guarantee you that. So I think there's going to be a lot. Yeah, so 135 is not going to hold. Once that lockup hits, man, it's over with. There's the imbalances right now. It's Intel with the sell side, Nvidia with the sell, but doesn't seem to be moving anything right now.
Demon.
Yeah, the market not doing a whole heck of a lot. I don't really see SpaceX on there, but now it's $1 holding near those all-time lows for SpaceX. I'll give it an update there about why I think that 135 is obviously going to be in jeopardy. I mean, we always hear about, oh man, like, the guy working the kitchen is now a millionaire, or, this person working that. I'm pretty sure a lot of the employees will have lockup, rules there. And I thought we heard that first sort of tranche can get unloaded there off of their first earnings call. So we'll wait to see if that does happen. Hey, man, hopefully by the time August 6th happens, this is back to $200. I mean, that's still a ways away, right? You still got 4 weeks until they report their earnings there. But this is what's happening. There's the market on close imbalances. And hey, man, without any further ado, she's waited for a while. Let's go over to the desk now and talk about a crypto minute with Sia.
Let's take a look at what's going on with the crypto markets at the moment. So we do know that crypto has been reacting to a bit of the inflation number slowdown that we saw today. So all crypto, including BTC, Ethereum, and Solana, are rallying today up, looking a bit bullish. BTC is up 3.69% on the day. We have Ethereum up very close to 6%, and Solana up 3% on the day. So Perpetuals.com, which is also a global fintech company, has discontinued discussions to potentially acquire a part of business that is closely affiliated with World Liberty Financial, which is a crypto venture backed by the Trump family. This is coming from a press release that is issued by Perpetuals as of today.
That's a buy balance.
All right, that was quick. Thanks, Sia.
Thank you, Sia.
Only 2 minutes there, or 2 minutes into the imbalances, and you saw those numbers. What was it, 50 million I saw her put up there? I don't think
it was. I don't know. It's a pretty much of a nothing burger. But the second I saw Virgin Galactic actually ended up with a real buy, so I just punched out, took the flat. Nvidia is the big one for the sell side. You'd think it'd be more to the sell side for the overall market with Nvidia in there. Intel doesn't really make a difference. Warner Brothers, that's a decent one. Apple's a buy. You got to like that if Apple's going to be buy side. And then this is one of significance. You've got Lam, 900,000 sell. Remember, it's not just bank earnings. We get ASML earnings this week. Right. So obviously the guys who make the machines and make the chips, Lam would be one of those. Good company, sell imbalance, and it's going higher. So that it doesn't have to make sense, but it is what's happening. So Lam's going up on a sell imbalance. I think that's going to be an interesting one. But I'm going to pop out. Should have stayed net long in Rivian. Rivian from the low, Rivian from 17.10, played the trend. Obviously, the long was great, so I'm not going to complain about it, but we did take a shot at the short when it started to revert, and we'll take that last one out just now. Anytime I see a catastrophic move to the downside I don't care what the stock is, right? Like if Lucid does that, there could be a sympathy play, but there was a better option, and we all learn. Every single day, we're learning. Like that's what traders should be doing. I'm gonna look to see if they have one of these, because that LCDL, I don't know, like this was the trade. Like Rivian was a good opportunity, but this was the real one. It was when you were still in the midst of all those down halts and going crazy, and the whole time the 2X was still trading, and the reversion off the bottom. Look at the volume candle reversion here. That's a 10-cent breakout that goes to 30 cents. Now, granted, take your profit because it ends up halting on you, and by the way, they're still not open. You don't want to get trapped, but like that's crazy. Always double check, because it's the second time I've seen what looks like one of these leverage ETFs break. I watched it happen once on ZSL, and we saw it again here with Lucid, but I wasn't even aware that this thing existed until the viewers told me, and that was too late.
Yeah, good look there. Or, you know, I made a good amount of money for sure on just the Lucid straight short. You know, wait for it to pop back up there, hit that short there, you know, put on a decent amount of shares and just try to go for it. I mean, I didn't put on a huge amount there, just 2.5 units or so. But, you know, the biggest amount of shares I put on all day was obviously on this $4 stock. So, you know, nice move to the downside there. And that's how I kind of, you know, look at it, try to judge the upside. And remember, like we took, I mean, you know, obviously that LDL was great in hindsight, but we were actually on Lucid right there and gave a 5-cent stop, you know, to make what our best fill is 60, so to make 20 cents. So 5 cents to make 20, pretty good there. And we'll see where it winds up closing, but a pretty risk on trade there, considering all the stops. But you want to talk about money. Here we go, man. SpaceX all-time low, and guess what? Your boys got it again, Joe, right there with SpaceX, and there it goes, man. We're short at 139. We're short again at 138. It's at 136. I mean, here we go. We shorted Microsoft for you earlier, and that's a boom shaga laga. That's actually, you know what? That's something that I need. That he's heating up from our good game NBA Jam right there. But we're heating up to SpaceX down to 136. So incoming, watch out for that 135, man. Missile incoming right there into 135. It'd be really cool if we saw that size in the next 4 minutes. And I think that's a very good possibility to do that. So right down into that low, man. There goes SpaceX. Yeah, there it is. Money. We like that one here today, man, as we reign supreme. Thanks, Joe, for that one. We got short on Lucid. I mean, this is what we've been doing this afternoon. Short Lucid, bang. Short Microsoft, booyaka. Nvidia got out of our trade. That one's whatever, but that's a long from 05 right down there. SK Hynix, we left it alone, and then SpaceX. That's it, man. So just a couple good bangers there into the close. I hope you were trailing some of that one. And then, of course, my good friend Salvador. Wow, Salvador. This guy took that long off that discussion right there at 185. And booyah, there goes SK Hynix up to 194. But yeah, man, money raining in today on these names. Lucid for me, SpaceX, and there it goes, man. Let's just see what happens here into the close. I'll keep an eye on this for myself just in case it does get down there and we can call it back up. But I don't even see it on here. It doesn't matter. The pressure is in on SPCX, now down $2 off the reload, $3 off the initial look. And yeah, man, just bleeding here. We'll have to wait to see tomorrow. I would love to see this 135.
There's going to be a bid down there.
Oh, there's going to be a monster bid.
There's going to be a monster bid.
That's the best part
there.
about waiting for this.
I think obviously when you see that, we're going to look millions, iceberg. That's the kind of thing. The underwriters have probably done their job, but let's see. With only about 2 minutes to go in here, the crazy thing is, I'm telling you, man, Rivian just continues to go. And great point got made about Lucid. Could be that with the move to the downside, that 2X got liquidated, and they might never open that sucker back. It might not open back up, so you got to be careful with it. But here's the bigger thing: nobody knew. Sean's on Lucid, I was on Rivian. You got to be happy that it happens. You can't know where the moves are going to be, but when something like that happens, suddenly that's where your attention is going to go to. When I'm talking about the Lucid story or speculation or rumor, whatever we're going to be calling it. Here. So because they can effectively cause a stock like a V-shape in Rivian that basically went 5% down and 5% up in a complete V-shape. Like, that's not going to happen every 2 seconds. Easy peasy. 2%. Well, sorry, you're 0.2%. Thank you for the super chat. Slow day worked, print money. Slow day worked, print money, cash, SNDK. I feel like we're too short form on these ones, easy peasy. Here, SNDK was just back and forth. Didn't have a very clear direction on this. In the memory names, I feel like you were looking at SK Hynix today or DRAM. Like, those were the two. So I don't know what you're like. Holding in cash probably made some sense if you were trying to play that. But DRAM was trend up, and SK Hynix was trend up. So it feels as if maybe today SNDK wasn't the jam. There's only 1 minute to go, so I'm going to come in tomorrow and still be bearish on SLV. But for this one, we stayed short most of the day with the exception of this out at 11 o'clock, right before the end of the show, went for a walk, came back shorting it. I'm still bearish on the stock overall, but we'll come in with a fresh perspective, on the metal overall. But we'll come in with a fresh perspective tomorrow. Always willing to play it in either direction, but it was what happened on the 8:30 number in CPI. The CPI top, it held it a third time. Always respect those types of levels. When you make a big level on a number like that, you want to make sure that you give it some credence because it was a good one here for a lot of different names. Less than 15 seconds to go. Less than 20 seconds to go. The closing bell is always brought to you by VFS. That's VinFast, everybody. Ticker VFS. Want to shout them out for sponsoring the closing bell. On what was a crazy day, who knew? If you had Lucid getting rugged on your bingo card, congratulations. SpaceX 135 has been a theme, so at least that makes sense. I doubt you had IBM going down 24%, a record down day for IBM, the worst day. Its worst day, so 25%, its worst day since Black Monday, and actually even worse than that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
As bad as it gets.
Yeah, no, it's, who had Lucid on the card, guys? I just wanted to say, even despite hitting it late, Lucid was the #1 P&L name today on the show across all shows, right? And so even though it was just a small little win, it just goes, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is because you don't need to trade, and I'm a victim of this, like trading the $200, $300 big time names, and we said that we were gonna try to get into something, and I have the biggest loser too with SK Hynix, so. But right now, I just want to say that's part of the game, is looking at trades like this, and we just got out right there at the end of the day. So I think tomorrow, Lucid will be pretty hot, that is for sure. So we're really excited to continue to trade for you guys every single day. And yeah, Lucid, like Neil said, who would have thunk it there? All right, SpaceX, good mover. And that's what I was saying. I just made just a little more money on Lucid than I did on SpaceX, but look at the big moves here on SpaceX, so just to show you, you get a couple, this is a $3 winner there at the end of the day, but yet we make more money on a 20-cent move. So it's a lot of that is share sizing. And that's why we always talk, about what we're doing, where our ins and where our outs are, right? And that's why you got to give yourself tight stops. That's why that Lucid trade was 5 cent worth of a stop. But yeah, man. So
cancel your stops.
Yeah, I actually did that.
I actually just
I still have
canceled
one.
it.
I thought my SpaceX stop was still in there, and my Lucid. I thought I canceled those. Okay, I guess I didn't. But yeah, good call on that one. So just outs there at the all-time lows of SpaceX, 136. So right there, 136.20, man. Good look. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's too bad. I really wanted to see what was at 135. I just hope tomorrow we don't come in and it's under 135. I would really like to see an open market defend of that level. So get ready, man. I mean, anybody that was FOMOing this one, and I remember when it was at 225, I was should probably get out of what we had there, but we did think it was going to go higher. And now, wow, man. Ever since SpaceX IPO, maybe 5 up days, and the rest red, and we get into those lows. So, man, it's going to be a good one. And look at this. Talk about, the story of two different names, right? SK Hynix on day 3, ripping to highs. SpaceX on day 3 was tanking to lows. So again, one has a product, one kind of waiting for that, sort of shoot a drop, right? I mean, obviously they have Starlink and stuff, but
SK Hynix trades at under 5 PE.
Yeah.
That's the 4
So
PE.
does Micron, right?
That's the thing. The memory chip names are all trading technically cheap, despite whatever you might want to think about it. So the buyers, when they came at SK Hynix, crazy. And remember, the CEO of IBM told you where the money was going. And so, like, I'll be the first person to be guilty. Like, there was some great opportunities today, but in complete hindsight, the second he said the CapEx spending is going into memory over their products, and that's why they're losing. It really did. Like, DRAM was, forget about, you didn't have to have SK Hynix. You could have been bearish there. DRAM was fantastic. I want to thank Brian Shannon for coming on through. And Raheem this morning. We had Raheem back from the Stampede. Shout out to Adara. Shout out to Sia. The Midday boys. Joey Option is still sitting around here. We got Sharif. The entire team over there. Fabian, of course, Christina, and Andre Assassino. Would like to see tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, if we can get that 135 bid. But my fear is you gap through the SpaceX 135 and we don't actually get to see it. That would be the fear.
Yep, that's what I was saying. I hope that when we come in tomorrow morning, it's at 135, not lower, because
never know.
I love to see that. Okay, it's 4:04. Get home safe. We'll see everybody tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Go Spain.